we got the recording going. We got all the shit in place to do that. And let's see here. Yep, we got audio. We got video. It's all confirmed. Thanks, chat room, for being here. We're kicking it off right now in 3, 2, 1.
Look what we got here. Another little birdie wanting to fly.
Hey, hello, and welcome to Core. This is Core for August 10th, 2023. It is a Thursday night. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and we're here to talk about video games and a real big video game in particular we'll be talking about today. But I saw something this week that begged a little bit of a question I want to start with us off with today. Do video games being handled wrong in television shows? I saw a TV show where the video game was there, and they used it in a way or played a thing that didn't exist on the console they were playing it on. Whenever anything like that happens in a TV show or a movie, it totally puts me off the movie and pisses me off. Sometimes they get it right, but most of the time, it's an afterthought. The directors aren't gamers; they don't think about it. They're just like, put Doom on there in the '90s, and some guys somehow playing Doom on a fake console that doesn't exist on his television before there was any console versions of Doom.
It's like anachronistic, basically.
Yeah, I hate that. It drives me up a tree when they do this. So I was curious if I'm the only one. Is this a dumb, nitpicky thing? When you see Jesse Pinkman playing, what was it?
Rage with a light gun.
Oh, that's right. See that? I'm not saying that this ruined Breaking Bad because it's still one of the greatest shows ever made. But could you just take a second, and talk to somebody on the staff or the crew? Somebody there plays games. There's no way you could.
They did know that for Breaking Bad. It's maybe not the best example, but they actually got id to make a version that would respond to the light gun.
Right.
So that was a real thing. That was a real game. That was
Jesse's
Rage.
a modder?
He was playing it with a light gun.
Yeah.
They did it because they felt to tie it into where Jesse's head was because he had killed somebody.
Yeah.
They wanted to have it to where instead of a controller, he actually had a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
So I can forgive that. Like, that's the thing. That stuff is okay with me. Like, there's this weird thing where it's like, okay, clearly there was a storyline reason for it. It wasn't just like the video games. And there's a ridiculous where it's like, you've got a PS4 controller controlling an NES or vice versa or something. Like, that's so disconnected. It doesn't even bug me. It's just like, okay, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this weird sweet spot in the middle where it bugs me, which is like the one that always comes to mind for me is Tony Soprano playing Mario Kart with AJ Soprano.
Yeah.
And they're very clearly playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
They talk about it. But the way James Gandolfini holds an N64 controller and plays it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And it just lives in my head ever since I've seen that scene and someone talks about video games being displayed weirdly in media. That's the scene I think of, is that right there. It's where it's kind of right, but also wrong at the same time.
Okay, fair enough. Bo, you were adding to that. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, we sort of moved on, but I was just going to say they could have totally found a game that worked. It didn't have to be Rage. It could have been Area 51.
Oh, yeah.
Or
They could have done
Terminator,
that.
or House of the Dead. Or Virtua Cop. Like, why did it have to be Rage? Like, that would have been... People would have been like, oh, shit, I played that at the movie theater or something. Like, everyone's like, Rage? There's a light gun version of Rage? I don't know. John's right. It's not that egregious, but it's still... I would have been more excited to see Area 51 personally than anything else.
Sometimes I see something that's known for getting tech right. Like I watched an episode of Black Mirror recently, and it was an older episode that I hadn't seen yet, but it was the one where they kept escaping into this fighting game, and then the characters in the game fell in love, but the guys playing the games. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That game's fine. Like, that isn't my problem. Even the leap of there's a little thing you put on the side of your head and it makes you go into virtual space or whatever. I'm fine with that. These are all leaps that make sense to me because that's the point. Let's take a leap with technology. But when he's not playing that game, he's just playing Tetris Effect on a PlayStation 4. And I'm like, oh, all right.
He's into old video games, guys.
He was playing retro games. That was going on. Because by
It's
then,
either like roll your eyes back in your head, virtual reality, or Tetris Effect on the PlayStation 4. Those are the only games they have.
yeah, they just don't get that stuff right. But anyway, it took me out of something I saw recently. I'm not even going to say what it is because right now it's very popular, and I don't want anyone to not like it because it's very good. But it threw me, and it made me think we could ask it here on the show. I also put up a
I don't know,
picture.
it's a pretty serious crime, though. Honestly, showrunners, since you're listening to our show, since you don't have any shows to make right now, you're out there on the picket line checking out Core. Get
Yep.
your video game shit right. There's no excuses. 2023.
Yeah.
It's not like oh, my kids play that. It's like you got no excuse.
So in this Tony Soprano thing, he's just thumbing the middle stick,
It's one hand.
One hand.
hand on the stick.
and he's not holding down gas. Where was gas on this? Where was there a trigger for gas?
I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe he just is all gas and like joystick. He doesn't.
Well, I mean, this brings
there's
this
no
opens up
break.
a-
There's no hopping. It's just.
I mean,
just
this
that.
this opens up a side tangent because that's also true for musical instrument playing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason when someone's playing the piano and it's the actor can't play the piano, they don't show the hands, or they cut to a disconnected pair of hands that's someone who can play the piano doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unit B or whatever they call it. The second unit takes care of the hands.
Yeah.
But every now and then they get a guy who's going to play guitar and just hold it. And like that came up in the Barbie movie. Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling, he knows what a G chord looks like.
Yeah.
He can play a C chord.
Sure.
Simu Liu, sorry, Simu.
Simu, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I think it's him. Maybe it might have been another actor, but I think it's him. Just has his fingers on the strings.
Yeah.
No chords.
Yeah.
He's strumming with one hand. Just like
Yeah.
learn a G chord. You know, they
Just a
didn't play it that
little
hard
bit
a
of
song.
extra realism, not realism, but just like a little extra. You thought of this like detail, you know. I
mean,
appreciate
most
it.
people it doesn't bug them because they're like, "Wow, guitar playing magic." But when it's not magic to you, like with the Mario Kart and Gandolfini,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm so pulled out of this movie right now. Like,
Yeah. And he's holding. So I'm looking at the actual instructions here, not instructions, but the layout of the controller. You accelerated with the, I guess that's a B. No, that's A button, the blue A button. And you braked with, so you didn't use triggers. I couldn't remember how
Yeah.
that worked.
So he's not. There's nothing happening.
No.
I have another note for Hollywood while they're listening.
Okay.
People who aren't that great at video games, if it's someone like Gandolfini and they're playing games a little bit, but they don't play a lot,
Yeah.
they also don't hold their hands still. The number of noobs that go like this
Yeah.
or like this with the controller while they're playing,
Yeah.
that's how you play. That's how an intermediate plays where they can play, but they have to do unnecessary motions because they're over. I don't know why they do it, actually.
My mom does
Maybe
that.
when
I give it to
Yeah.
my mom. That's how she plays it. And she knows no other way. In fact, they should take those people. Don't give them old controllers because they'll do this with Sonic or whatever. You go right to gyroscopes and VR and things where your movement does matter, right? Then they're all in.
Yeah.
They're just already doing it.
It's like my dad
Surprisingly,
with a
when I-
smartphone. You skip to. It seemed like way too much tech for him, but it actually came back around to where he could understand it.
Exactly.
So he knew basic phones, then he didn't understand it for a while, and then he understood smartphones. So there's a gap there.
Yeah.
Just push the phone symbol and type the numbers in. You're good.
Or it's fine if James Gandolfini is only holding the one middle prong of the controller and holding down the stick, because on the screen his car's not going anywhere. What makes that okay is if his son goes, "Dad, you're not even pushing the gas," or give me some of that, because then you both illustrate that dad doesn't know how to play this game, and he's frustrated and doesn't really want to do this, but also the kid's smart enough to know that this isn't actually working. Then you would have had me. So I have to kind of skip that episode. I can't watch that scene. Bugs me.
I'm gonna tell you what bugs me more than any of this, though. Because there is one thing. Doesn't matter if you're presenting the game well or poorly or what you're showing.
Yeah.
There's one thing that will kill any TV movie portrayal of video games.
What's that?
That's when people mention the word points. Something that has not been in the gaming lexicon for a long ass time. But you always have it in a crime show. It's like, I think our perpetrator was a gamer. Why would he do something like this? I don't know. Probably trying to get a high score.
Yeah.
Get some points.
Get
It's
some
like,
points.
shut the hell up. Nobody talks like that.
No one ever talks like
Nobody
that.
says that.
You're right, but sometimes there are still cringy people out there who do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if
I
you're
hate it
trying to
so much.
if you're trying to make it
Oh,
look
it
like they
bugs me.
know what they're doing and then they start talking like that, that's when I check out. It's just like, no, you
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, I hate it too. I'm with you guys, but sometimes I'm like,
Yeah, this is like, you know what it's like? It's like a doctor watching ER. That must be excruciating. Or a cop watching NYPD Blue. Like, I'm sure they get some things right, but I'm sure most of the time you're just like rolling your eyes. That's not how we interrogate. That's not how that works. There's a whole process. You don't just walk into a detective office and go, my purse was stolen, and then have a whole story about it. Like, I am sure they cringe at those things. So that's just us. We love games. We're into it. We know what's up. So when we see stuff like this, we just cringe. Hire us, like Bo said, Hollywood. You got a moment here where you can chill and relax. Hire us. We'll be your on-set. What are they called?
consultants.
Consultants. We'll be
Yeah.
your consultants, and you'll say, "Oh, what's this?" And John will go, "Well, what you got there is your XP bar. Let me explain how. You can actually get some shit done because the future is now. Video games are here. You're gonna have them in your shows.
Maybe don't call us. I'd like to get paid.
Yeah." We'd
I
like to
think,
get paid a
I think
living
Frog
wage.
Dance is a better payer than some Hollywood firms. I saw an article that someone who wrote on Suits got paid $200 in residuals lifetime.
Oh my
I'm
lord,
like, yeah.
that's pretty bad.
I'm like, oh, no wonder they're on strike. Anyway,
I read one where the dude who is the head writer for The Bear, this hit show The Bear, which everyone loves and everyone talks about it constantly. That guy's barely making ends meet, and right now he's kind of screwed because they're on strike and he can't do anything. It's just like pay a living wage.
Yeah.
And these
But
people that go,
they're-
"We'll have the actors pay it." Who do you think these? They're not all Tom Cruise, you dummies, you weirdos.
yeah, most actors make under minimum wage. I think I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
There's more than 15 actors. There's 15 actors who make or maybe 60 who make a shit ton of money, and the rest of them don't work every year. And when they do, they get barely anything, and they give it all up to entertain you. So
Yeah, and the
they're
people
not asking you to do anything. They just want the other people to share some of their riches because Netflix is making millions, if not billions. Like, come on now,
billions.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
have people.
Crazy,
The people with
crazy.
all the money, you don't know who they are, and they hide. They're like they're not the face of anything. It's kind of a strategy because like if you don't know who the
I
CEOs are, it's
I
like
saw something about the Netflix stuff, by the way. I know this is really tangential to what we were talking about,
yeah.
but apparently someone who was working on one of the shows when they were budgeting their show after it gets approved was put money in for writers, and it's like, oh, we don't hire writers. You just hire them like freelance, and you hire 4 of them and pay them nothing, and then you hire other people to do the scripts, or like no continuity, right? Like
Touch them up.
the idea that you bring up like the writers, like Breaking Bad has like the same writing team throughout the thing, right?
Yeah.
Imagine just randos on Fiverr. So I guess just go on Fiverr, find some script writer, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, so like it explains a lot about what's going on with overall their content in general, and they pay them nothing,
Yeah. It's a
and
mess.
it's sad. Like, you got to compensate those guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
We could just not have TV. Like, maybe everyone just stop. Let's go on strike for like 10 years. Let's not write or act in anything.
It'll all be reality TV again, like they did last time this happened. We're gonna get a bunch of that. Thankfully, we have a ton of backlog right now, so you have lots to go through. But at some point, if this goes long enough, you're gonna have a big gap, and in that gap, they're gonna be like the Real House Husbands of Tucson, Arizona, or some bullshit.
Oh,
They-
man. Oh man.
You don't-
Oh man.
John knows enough about Tucson to know this is a bad idea.
Well,
Bad
I mean,
plan.
Tucson's bad. What you want to tune in for is the Real Housewives of Sedona, Arizona. Just watch a bunch of people healing each other with triangles and rocks.
Oh my gosh, no, thanks.
That'd be amazing.
The Salt Lake one is a big one here, and everybody sucks in that show. And I don't want more reality TV. It's a scar on our butts. So get this worked out, Hollywood. Make it happen. It'll have a trickle down effect on voice actors and people in the games world. It's right now those people are on strike that do a lot of game writing and game acting. Same problem. No one's talking about this, but
yeah, hang on. That's no good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
They're mostly unionized in the game space.
yeah. So if you're a SAG
I know
after
acting, but writing.
if you're
Writing?
a SAG-AFTRA or a writer, a WGA writer, affiliated writer, and you write for games or you write for film, you're striking, I think, across the board. As far as I know, I think it's all connected. If I'm wrong about that, somebody write in, because I'm no expert and I only know.
I
a few
know they're
listeners.
making exceptions for certain things, but it's still a process. Like, if you I'll give you a weird example of where this strike is taking place. If you're a fan of watching react content on YouTube, people who react to movie trailers and television shows and movies,
Yeah.
a lot of those people have stopped producing content because SAG-AFTRA guidelines say don't promote stuff during the strike, and most of them will listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy what the trickle down effect will be for this sort of thing. It's gonna be crazy. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of their problem to deal with, and I hope it goes well for them, but at the same time it does ultimately suck for us too.
Yeah.
Like, it will get back to you. I know a lot of people that just sort of have the whatever kind of attitude, but I've been through a writer's strike before, and it gets to a real ugly place, and the worst part is how long it takes to come out of it too, because it makes it feel like the writer's strike goes on for like 8 years longer than the strike actually did, because it takes a while for everything to spool back up again. So you're like, wait a minute, I thought the writer's strike was over. Why is Lost still an awful TV show? And it's like, writer's strike.
Yeah, it took a while for that took a long time. The 2011 one, I think it was, that took forever to reset and feel good again. So now we kind of have a glut, but that won't last if this goes too much longer. But I don't know, maybe I probably should ask Liam, because in his case, think of it this way: Critical Role's got their stuff that they do for themselves. I don't think that that's affected, but
they're playing a game. It's
basically. And I don't know if Matt Mercer writing content for his DM work is considered crossing that line or not. I don't know how that stuff works.
I would say no. You're prepping
My
the game.
guess
You're
would
just
be
playing
they
a game.
probably had to get permission. Like, again, Liam will probably say, but my guess would be they had to find out if it was okay and got approved.
Right. But then they've got their whole Critical Role thing on Prime, which is a full animated series with all of the connections that you would normally have to regular producing, writing, acting, and everything else. I'm guessing that's on hold. It would have to be, because that's part of the.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's production stuff. So I don't know.
But it also depends on when it was done. Like, a lot of this stuff, like right now, my feed is filling with from the new Ninja Turtles movie, the Mutant Mayhem. I'm seeing all the like press tour stuff from that.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff has been shut down, and actors have been told not to participate in that. In this case, it's coming through because it was all finished prior to the writing strike, so they're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So there are exceptions. There's also movies in production because the production is adhering to the requests that are being made, and they will allow that for some smaller independent films. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. But the net result is the content is slowly going away.
Yeah.
It's just getting bad.
Yep. Then it's reality shows. So we'll be a reality show. We're going to follow
I wonder
us.
for the gaming space, you could have people who are functionally writers but have titles like creative officer or something like that.
Oh, maybe.
I wonder how, if you're not part of the union, I guess, and you write, then you don't have to strike. Like, it's only if you're a union member.
Yeah. I don't think it'll affect you either way. But I just know there's a lot of crossover there, especially with big titles like, I mean, hell, Final Fantasy 16 wouldn't have had Sid as portrayed by what's his name, because he's a guild member.
But we'll get some weird localization. It'll be Japanese actors speaking English.
Great.
You can get the Dyson Sphere guys to do all the voice acting.
Oh my gosh, do not have the Dyson Sphere guys do anything.
And the writers.
They're so bad. I always forget how bad that is until you remind me, and then I kind of want to play Dyson Sphere again. So nice job.
Anyway. It's as good as it can be while also remaining bad, if that makes any sense.
I think it makes perfect sense. All right. Well, all that being said, let's talk about what we played this week. Actually, our big topic and what we played. It's all tied together today because you just can't get away from it. Do you guys remember this goblin, by the way, in your playthrough, this dude?
Look what we got here.
Did you get to the part where there's
yeah, that's the one by the windmill.
The
right?
windmill, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a real pain in the butt because I was going real aggro on my second playthrough.
Yeah.
And there's deceptively way more goblins there than you think there are. And when push came to shove on that, I died a couple times.
Oh, yeah. I've got
Wasn't
through
Second
there.
ready for the
playthrough.
amount.
You haven't finished it yet, have you?
Oh no.
No, second
Okay, yeah.
playthrough of a
I was about to
character.
be shocked. But
How
yeah,
far?
no,
How
I
far?
totally get it.
How far did you get with your first run, and then the second one? Are you caught up there, or what? Like, how's that going?
It's impossible to tell. Like, we'll get into it. Like, the playthrough I'm doing now that I'm focusing on mainly has done things that the first playthrough didn't do,
Mm,
but hasn't gotten as far on the main story as the first one did.
okay.
So I feel like I've done far more on the second playthrough, but it is not as far as I ultimately progressed on.
I'm
the
surprised you even know what the main story is at this point.
It's
Yeah.
nearly impossible to tell.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm glad you guys are saying it this way because I was having a hard time framing this conundrum about the game. That isn't a bad thing, but it is not. It doesn't fit neatly in any sort of linearity. And you could say, well, Scott, that sounds like an open world game where you kind of choose when and where. It's different than that even. It's like I'll run into something and go, oh, this must be a major story point. I found a guy by a bridge. And we're going to talk about some stuff that may or may not occur for people. We're going to try not to be spoilery about big things.
how about open narrative game rather than open world?
There you
'Cause
go.
The world is not open. It's a map, a long, sprawling map, densely packed with events
stuff.
and characters. But how the story unfolds, there's no MSQ.
Yeah.
If you play Final Fantasy 14, it's like the opposite, where it's got the little thing. Is your MSQ? Bing, bing, bing. It's like this is the opposite. You are the MSQ. Whatever you're doing is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And the game delivers on making it, I think, for me, enticing to be like, okay, I know I want this tadpole out of my head, but I really need to find out what's the deal with the owl bears. And I don't know if that's relevant or not to the tadpole.
Yeah.
But the owl bear seems important. So
Sure.
let's do
there's
that.
there's
now.
things, even small stuff, where you're like, oh, I need to be. That seems really important. And in fact, that's like 12 lines of dialogue I have to choose from before I can even make a decision here. And I'm going to save scum right before I have that conversation because it turns out that thing can go like 14 different ways depending on what you say, do, or what your characters align with, or which character you started the conversation with, even if it's one of your created people, one of your normal story people, you just happen to be on them because their inventory is less full, and that's who you talk to the guy. And now, oh, they have a perception role that I don't have, and like the game is constantly, I don't know how to farting content into my face.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
It's just like,
I'll tell you guys, because I don't know what your playthrough like. I am so far underground right now that I have no idea what's going on the surface. The surface is like a distant memory at this point.
Yeah.
And if you haven't gone underground in any meaningful sense, and I mean way underground, it's shocking how much real estate there is in Act 1.
When you're saying
If you think
underground,
you've got
mean
a
like,
sense of the surface map in Act 1.
Yeah.
Just like multiply that by the downwards verticality. And I'm not at Act 1 yet. I'm like, how big is this game?
yeah. And you're
I'm
talking
assuming
about
Act One's
literally the Underdark, the D&D Underdark, right? That's where you're at, is down there.
It's not like just a floor beneath the earth.
Yeah.
It's several miles below the earth. And I don't want to spoil things or anything, but just to let you know, because I think it gets tempting in this game when you're like, you want to rush because you're like, let me just check out that corner really quick. Like, yeah, I got this quest I want to go on, but this guy needs help. And I see a ladder over there or see something over there. And next thing you know, that's 20 hours of a side tangent that turns into another adventure. Yeah. So if you're rushing through things, you're going to skip past so much detail that you really just gotta strap yourself in for the ride. Yeah. I think.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah, but that surface conflict, I'm like, man, that might already be done by now. I've been underground so long. I don't. Everything upstairs might be dead or over with.
I guess one of the problems I'm running into, and part of it is it's the juxtaposition of this game against other D&D games I've played and/or actual D&D, is that I feel pressure. Given so many encounters that can go south, meaning a fight can break out or not, but you don't know. So every 4 feet I move somewhere, it's like, oh, these goblins, they're pissed. Why? And I got to talk to them and let's see what happens. And before I know it, I'm in a huge fight, maybe in over my head, and I barely survive. We're all just limping, bloodied, spent all our spell slots to make it, all that stuff. I still in my head go, am I allowed to have like this many long rests? I might.
Rest away.
Yeah.
Unless somebody actually gives you a specific timeline in the narrative,
Yeah.
you can rest 5,000 times. It doesn't affect the overworld.
Okay.
I know it's a bit immersion breaking, but
Oh, I'm fine with it. I just want to make
don't
sure
be shy
I'm
to
not,
rest.
I feel like I'm
I was
effing
like
up.
that at. I was like that at first too, but in the early stages of D&D, like one combat is enough to just, everyone's chugging at 1 HP. I want to, even at level 4, I won a battle yesterday where I only had one character left with 2 hit points. And it took me
Jeez.
3 hours.
Wow.
Or not 3, but maybe an hour or 2. Like it was a long slugfest.
Yeah.
Because I started the fight badly, of course, but I pulled through.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just take the rest.
Does that
It's like
seem-
it's kind of real life-ish. If you get into a giant sword fight today and survive, you're gonna need a nap.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
that's where my head is conflicting. It's like in real D&D, we would try to conserve those and not use them all the time. Partly because we were in situations where we either couldn't, or we were playing through a scenario Bo had going where that just wasn't an option or whatever. And in this game, there's a system of picking up items throughout the world that add to your restability. They're supplies, not camp supplies, camping supplies.
Yeah.
So you may find a box that's got 2 apples and a dirty hunk of cheese, and those 3 things have certain quantitative additions to your rest supplies.
It's exactly like War Tales in that way. War Tales is the exact same system.
And it seems like I'm getting a lot. Like they are generous with it. If I open a lot
Yeah,
of stuff,
that's when I realized that, like, oh, they want you to rest. I was like, I'm carrying so much of this, I'm literally becoming encumbered with camping supplies. I had
Yeah.
to start sharing it with my teammates, and I was like, they clearly want me to sleep.
I got a trick for you guys.
okay, give it.
So the food supplies automatically goes into your food pack in your backpacks, right? So it's organized, right?
Yeah.
So double click it, expand it, and you can shift click the first one and the last item to highlight all. Right click, send to camp,
Oh, really?
and you
Oh,
free up a
so
bunch of
your
weight.
your sleep will pull from the camp resources.
It
too?
will. It behaves a little
that's
weird.
so
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
But yeah,
dude.
if you want
That's
to
a
save
game
yourself,
changer.
yeah, like whenever I pile up some food, I mean, I need. Look, my barbarian has to carry like 15 different weapons because I throw like my double-handed axe. The barbarian's like secret, just like OP with its enhanced throw because you just throw everything. Like I keep giant metal treasure chests in my inventory and stuff. I launch everything.
Yeah.
And if she's carrying food, I need that room. So send it to camp.
I want to load up my game just so I can send all my camp supplies. To
Yeah,
camp.
this is why I keep.
like that's a big game changer for me.
I spent half an hour dumping stuff from my main character's inventory.
And you don't even got to go to camp. It's in the right click context menu. You go to camp. Anything you want to send to camp because you're like it's heavy and I'll look at it later.
Yeah.
Right click send to camp and it'll go to your stash.
Okay. Here's another question I got then that's along those lines.
doing it. I'm launching the game.
So you can
what this
send that.
does.
That's good. That's a good tip to know. Here's another tip that maybe people know or don't know. When you're bartering with somebody, there's a toggle switch at the top that says barter or just sell. And if you're bartering, you're actually doing a trade, right? Like here are 15 things I found and they equal roughly what I want to buy from you. There's our barter. Boom. I've exchanged those goods for this. I didn't really get gold for it. You can switch it from bartering to just selling it. Like you would in like WoW or something where you're just selling all your shit. I don't know if that's meant to be a bad way of playing it, but if you're just like, oh my gosh, I just need to sell all this stuff and get some gold, freaking flip that switch and sell all your shit.
So one of the ways to manipulate vendors is to give them things for free. So there's a little reputation meter on the bottom right. If you steal from them, it'll go down, do bad things. But if you do good things like give them free merchandise,
Yeah.
that meter goes up, and when that meter goes up, they give you further discounts on prices.
Oh wow.
So, you can give them a bunch of, I don't know about you, but I pick up every candlestick holder, every piece of rotten cheese, every little rock, gear, knife, fork. I clear everything because this is a Larian game and you can give that shit to the NPCs for free
Yeah.
or they're worth money and then you can buy sweet magical items. But I pick up everything like I have a problem. I pick up everything.
I do the
I
same.
don't care.
Yeah.
It's all worth money.
I'm a pack
I'm like
rat.
Storage Wars, but in Baldur's Gate or Divinity. Like I pick it all up and I sell all of it.
Yeah, I do
and
the
sell
same.
it.
I don't know. I think that was just built into me because I tend to loot everything before I leave anywhere.
It adds up. It adds up, and you get that extra, amulet or extra ring. Like it adds up in these Larian games.
I know this is anti or antithetical to D&D, but I kind of do wish there was a shared inventory, because what will happen is my character, who I'm controlling most of the time, is just his inventory is always getting packed because I'm picking everything up with him. And the way that you circumvent that is to switch over to Shadowheart or somebody else, and they'll pick up stuff for a while.
You want to pick up things with your main character, right? Do you have that problem?
Yeah.
So I have some tricks for you too.
Go.
Sort by type, and then highlight all the gray weapons. Right click, send to Karlach, or send to whoever you're.
Really?
And then
I knew you could do one item at a time. I knew you could just take one thing, but I didn't know
you
could
can highlight a bunch now, and then sort by weight, and the heaviest things will be at the top, and just right click, send to whichever NPC. So it's better than dragging and dropping. I find the drag drop really sticky in this game. Like you'll drag drop, and then it's like there's lag and it goes back. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's not great.
But the right click works just fine. So
okay,
all your weapons and armor, like once you're getting loaded, and you send your camp supplies to camp. Yeah. Sort by type, send all the weapons to Karlach. Keeps the weapons because she can throw them. Okay. Lae'zel keeps all the armor just because she got voted, and Shadowheart holds on to like
her love for me is what she's holding on to. She loves me. She loves me.
Yeah. We're gonna have to talk NPCs in a second too.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. So
John, you're in there. I would like to say what if we did Dear Martha early?
Oh, we could do that.
We get in. Okay.
We could do that.
Might be related to Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this though, John. You're in right now. That was
amazing. I just freed up like 50 pounds.
It worked?
It was so good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now I just freed up so much weight from my character.
That's the one benefit from having played Divinity Original Sin 2 so many times, is that this game is not that different. It's a Larian game, so I'm like, I know all the tricks.
That's interesting. That'll make Dragon Age fans happy to hear that if they haven't picked this up. Maybe this is
click, send to camp. Get out of here.
I had such a dumb thought while I was playing this game the other day. I was having a conversation with somebody. My character was covered in blood. Yeah, and it was just a cool conversation, and I looked cool covered in, blood and viscera from what I'd been fighting. And I was like, man, it's just like Dragon Age. I was like, you know what? This game reminds me a lot of Dragon Age. And then I was like, that's because this is the type of game they were trying to make with Dragon Age. Yeah. Like, this is literally what they were going
This is what they were aiming for. And you're literally talking about the Baldur's Gate original teams trying to move into a new era and do it again, but with all these new ideas. And it's almost like Larian had to be the independent thing later that said, oh, we'll finish that for you. We'll do it.
Thank goodness for them, though, because as somebody who loves Dragon Age oranges.
Oranges?
Dragon Age oranges.
Dragon AIDS oranges.
I love that game so much. And while it's been hit and miss to a degree, like, they've never been at the same height as Origins for me. Like that one was the peak, and that's not a Diablo. This again, I was like, oh my gosh, I missed playing games like this so badly.
And that's not a Diablo 2 criticism. It's not, it's not like they don't make them like Diablo 2. Like Dragon Age Origins, they haven't made them at all like Dragon Age Origins. BioWare themselves were like touting that it's their new school of system, the first one, and then we got Inquisition, or not Inquisition.
We got two.
Inquisition,
and we got two, and I'm like, what is this shit?
Yeah. 2 is sucky. 3 got better. I'm excited about what they do with this new one because I feel like they learned lessons, but I don't actually know. But right now, this feels like the true spiritual successor to what they were trying to do the whole time.
If BioWare wants to reclaim some of their former glory, look at how willing everyone wants Baldur's Gate 3. I hope that they're making a proper CRPG style game. They will capitalize immensely if it's good, and if not, they'll flub it again. So,
yeah, this game's going real good money wise. All right, before we get to the early Dear Martha, we'll use that, John, as a way to transition to the NPC stuff and all that. Before we do that, though, I just wanted to say this. There's a lot of people talking about save scumming again. I hate that because play the game the way you want to. You bought it. It's yours. You do what you want. But I'm curious how often you guys will, like, I'm finding myself, like I did with Origins, funny enough, I will get up to some sort of stuff, see a bunch of bugbears hanging around, and I'll go F5. I gotta do a quick save because I ain't fighting these guys until I know what the hell's going on. I do it all the time.
Basically, you walk 5 feet and then you save, pretty much. I think I have like
It
82
feels like that.
saves.
It feels
Because there's
dangerous.
no autosave feature in the game, like you would expect, like a checkpointing game.
Right.
So
They have
you'll save all
autosaves,
the time.
but the autosaves in this they're sporadic and not. You
I
can't
forgot
rely
to
on them.
save for 30 minutes. Took a dumb fight, died,
Yeah,
and I had to go back and redo 30 minutes of conversations. Like,
it's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
I
had
won't do
that happen
that.
multiple times because I'm not in the habit of saving. Like it's not a muscle memory for me, and I mess up all the time. But I'll give you a good example. Like, so there was a part in the game, and people who get mad about save scumming, like this is meant to create, you know, a D&D like experience.
Yeah.
And if I was playing a D&D game, there are just some things that wouldn't happen in a D&D game where you have a person running it. And so there was a case where I went into a building I wasn't supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." But I convinced them that it was okay that I was there. And they said, "Okay, well, if you help me, you can come in."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, I'll help you." And then I realized I had no idea how to help them. And I was staring at my inventory and I went, "I don't know if I can help them." I started to walk away and then I went, "Well, maybe I can. I'll just talk to him." I turned around and for whatever reason, the game read me walking away and then turning around and coming back as breaking and entering.
Oh,
They
geez.
called the guards on me. The guards came over and told me I was where I shouldn't be
Yeah.
and tried to arrest me. I talked my way out of dealing with the guards, but then I couldn't go in and couldn't pursue anything in that building anymore. That's the kind of thing that's not going to happen with a DM because the DM will sit there and wait for you to think on what you want to do. And there's not going to be a weird glitch where all of a sudden, oh, I started to leave and then I started to come back and now this happened. Likewise, DMs also usually will give you clearer messages than there was a creature that was like, "I'm going to kill you." And I could talk to the creature and I went, "Please don't." And it went, "Okay, but stay back." And I was like, "Okay." But I didn't, and so then I was like, well, maybe I'll heal the creature. So I cast a healing spell on the creature, and they were like, the creature is healed, but it still seems a little agitated. I was like, well, let me talk to them. Maybe they're cool that I healed them. I walked towards them, and I was like, "I told you to stay back." And then we fought, and I had to kill the creature, and I felt very bad. I felt like a bad person when this happened. And it wasn't because of, like, that's not a gameplay experience that I have to live with. You know, you can't save scum that. If I was playing with another human being, it probably would have been like, well, keep in mind, creature told you to stay back, and you could do an investigation and go, okay, well, I healed it. Does it seem more amenable to me? And a DM would go, no, it still seems pissed at you. I go, okay, well, then I'm not going to go talk to it.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, save scumming just sort of makes up for the elements where it's a video game.
Yeah.
Where you can't have a conversation like you would around a table. You save scum because it's like, well, I don't know mechanically how this will work. That's normally where you would turn to the DM and go, how does this work mechanics and rules wise? And a DM tells you. Like, to me, that's what save scumming kind of is. And so I don't know. It's stupid. People get too Puritan about that sort of stuff.
I
Like, play
agree.
the way that you're happy with. If you want a challenging and you just say, no, whatever happens, happens, and I'm going to let it ride, you know, there's a fun experience in that, sure. But you will get frustrated sometimes when you think the game system works one way and it turns out it works a different way.
Yeah, and the easy answer for me is just, if it was your $60, you do what you want. And if you want to be hardcore about it and like get rid of a bunch of, there's all kinds of stuff you can turn off for like UI and, you know, what gets highlighted and when and that sort of thing. If you want to go for that like raw dog experience, do it. Go for it. You paid $60 too. You should play it that way. But getting online telling other people how to save, freaking F off. I hate that.
No, it's silly. I agree completely. It's you're not impressing anyone with it. You know what I mean? It's you having fun with their adventure. And like John gave a really good example, but I would just say there's lots of more mundane ones where the writing's are generally very good, but sometimes it's not. It's hard to interpret what
Yeah.
somebody means,
Sure.
and you think a line of choice means one thing, but it means another thing. and you're like, well, I didn't mean to murder the whole village. I thought it kind of meant like I was ambivalent to murdering the village, but not to actually murder them.
Right.
I gotta reload. Like I misinterpreted or they wrote it wrong. Whoever's fault it is, it's not what I meant.
No.
And if,
Yeah.
like John said, if I could clarify with the DM,
Yeah.
then that'd be
For me, it was a jackal or a wild dog or something that had something inside of it, and I didn't want to hurt it. I wanted to help it. So I kneeled down to help it, and it goes. It's like, and the narrator's going, the thing has something terrible inside it. It's like it's really a.
Oh, you're talking about the hyenas?
The hyenas, yeah. I almost said jackal.
John, have you met the hyenas?
Yeah,
You've been there.
I did.
Okay,
So I
I could
saved.
talk to animals. I got to talk to that hyena. I got to hear all about it.
I did too, but I failed the roll. It was a horrible roll. I rolled like a 2 or something, and I just couldn't do it.
And were you like, I need to re-roll that? You're like, I don't really care what this hyena
Well, in that part, I didn't
I
don't
need to reload. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't reload after that. But what I did is I just went to pet it and comfort it, and then out came the gnoll or whatever that was inside of it, and then I got killed. I got wiped because when they pop out of those things, there's way more enemies to deal with. So I reloaded before all that, still cared for it, but knew it was going to die anyway. So one of the options is to melee it in the head, which I didn't know, by the way, was step on its head with your foot over and over. I didn't know that's what they meant.
Well, how are you gonna kill a?
Well, melee
hyena
kind
on
of
the
means
ground?
punch.
It
kinda means
does.
hit with the
When they say
punch or
melee,
cut.
I'm like, it'll be a quick, a horse that's hurt its foot. You have to put out its misery. I thought it'd be a quick something with my weapon, but no, I walked up and went on this thing's head.
All of a sudden, you're Cliff Blazinski in some game he made, Curb Stomping.
Oh my gosh, Gears of War 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Baldur's Gate Gears. Yeah, so I did that, and then it ended up killing it and the thing inside it, and I won the fight because I killed the gnoll without having to kill the gnoll. So I was happy with that, and I kept going. I was fine with that. That's what the saves they have them mapped to F5 and F8 for a reason, or on controller, whatever it is. So you can just quickly do it, and I'm happy to do it.
By the way, I knew that's how gnolls were made, but they never came up in any of my games, and I never really visualized it. And I gotta say, pretty gross.
Yeah, right.
pretty gross. I never really thought. I was like, oh my god, this game's like.
How do you have to tell your children, Alexander, when a hyena and a gnoll really love each other? It comes out of its gut and spews blood everywhere. All right. Anyway, let's do this thing, John. We'll get it out of the way so that you can have some fun with this. So get ready, everyone. Do I need to do anything special on my end? You're just going to go?
This is just going to be
How about Down by the River? Do you
old
have
traditional Dear Martha letter.
Do you have the Baldur's Gate 3 music? Since it's BG3 themed, we should play.
Don't have anything queued, but
something.
let's see. I could probably
just Google just the main theme. It'll be hilarious.
All right, hold on. Baldur's Gate. Yeah, but if you're doing your southern voice, it'll be a little weird, won't it? Let's see.
It's just a one-off. Unless John really disagrees, but
I don't care either.
All right,
either
here
way.
it is.
Yeah.
I found it. Here's the soundtrack suite. I'm gonna play this. Whoops, give me some audio. Is it playing?
You're right. There's too much at stake.
well, there's dialogue.
Oh,
There's
What's
a lot
that?
of dialogue going on.
How about
A
this
lot
instead?
of talking
Just
for this music.
just main theme.
I don't know. Just play the Martha theme.
Why is it playing anything? Hold on. It's
I
playing
like- I
from
love
like
this
two
one.
places. What the hell is going on here? Hold on.
Did you launch the game to clean up your inventory?
Yeah, but it's not connected to audio, so it's.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally did. I showed everyone in the chat how it works, and it worked. Okay, here we go. I guess I was running around. All right, well this will
I
work.
still hear walking.
Yeah, what is that about? Why-
Is it just go?
All
like
right, we've built it up
OST.
too much. Just play the regular Martha music.
There you go. It's in.
My dearest Martha, this is the final letter I shall write to you and my family. While you have shown immense understanding and patience with me while I've been away fighting the good fight, I've encountered something, or better phrased, someone I cannot ignore. Do you recall that winter evening so many years ago when I vowed neither my eyes or heart would ever wander? You looked at me with a wink and said, "Surely there must be someone out there who could capture your affections." I knew then that you were being coy, And in my mind, so was I when I said, well, maybe. If I ever find an armor-clad warrior woman with a sharp tongue and fearless demeanor, a near alien appearance, for nobody of this plane could match your beauty. She'd have to walk a fine line of harsh disciplinarian and vulnerable confidant. A green-skinned Dami mommy that will refuse to leave her desires unspoken or unfulfilled. If I find someone that was all those things, you would still be my one and only, Martha. Well, unless we also shared a near mystical psionic connection that bound our fates together. Well, Martha, the craziest thing just happened. Tell the kids I love them, and know that while you can never again occupy the top place in my heart, you will always be a very close number 2.
Ew.
Yours in this life up till now, and the next, unless I were to meet some horned fiery giantess that could break me like a twig.
Yeah.
Mr. Lazelle, 539.
Wow. Even took on her name. Jeez. I can't do that nose. Can't do it. I tried. I thought
So,
I haven't
we
had
talking
time.
about, we talking romances? Who we romanced? Who we banged?
I haven't banged anyone yet. I have.
Really?
Yeah. I keep trying to get on my heart. It belongs to Shadowheart. What is it? Shadowheart? Yeah. She's
It's
the only
more- it's
person I
your
care
part.
about. I'm completely
Okay.
enamored with her, and
Asterion hasn't seduced you enough yet.
I don't know if I even have that dude yet. When do I
You don't
get
have
him?
you don't have Asterion, the
I'm
vampire
10.
elf.
I'm 12 hours into the game. I don't have him.
You got to the Knolls. Asterion's just right outside the ship. You went past him.
This is what I'm saying. The game is weird this way. Like you can miss shit and not know it. You can find
Yeah, you
things
really
somebody
did.
else finds. I really
Yeah,
did
you-
miss him. Can I go back? I
Yeah.
guess I can go back there because there's
Yeah,
teleport.
go,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go back.
It's
You
never
go
too
find
late.
him.
Yeah, I
It's never
thought
too late.
I've got
Maybe
me.
he'll just sneak
Hilarious.
into your camp at night. I don't know.
I've got me, alien face lady, Gale.
You found Gale, but you didn't find Asterion.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it is
All
weird.
right.
I don't know why I don't have him. So now that you're saying that, I got to go in there and figure out what the frick I did. But
You're off the map near it, but yeah, there's Asterion. I think is the only one that you missed in the area. Then I think
is he the one on the front with the blonde hair and the frilly whatever? And he's the one
he's
they
the vampire elf.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's your rogue. You need a rogue in your party.
I do bad right now.
Well, he's the rogue. He's the one
Shit.
you want. He's very useful.
Do you know how many
actually.
things, doors and chests and crap I couldn't open because
Uh-huh.
nobody was skilled enough to open that shit?
So I have that expertise, so I don't need to have Asterion in my party, but it makes me sad.
Yeah, wasn't
like
a
him,
problem for me either. Asterion not in my party as a result. He was redundant.
He was redundant to
Yeah.
your because you're a rogue. Yeah.
No, he's great. I honestly, the guy. So it's kind of a tangent, but I think all the voice actresses and actor or whatever voice performers did wonderful.
Yeah.
But Asterion is like on another level, man. I don't know what it is about his voice actor or what's going on there, and it's too early to call it the best performance. But I think it's like a front runner for me for like best voiceover performance.
Of all the whole year, the year of
Yeah, like
2023.
I might be turning gay because of Asterion.
Oh
let's
my
say that.
gosh.
Bo's rethinking his entire life based
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Asterion
Everything.
It's a
performance.
pretty strong
to
case.
be fair, if that happens based on a vocal performance, well deserved.
Yeah,
That's
you're really
a-
missing out for the vocal, and I think he's gonna pan out to be an interesting character based on what I know, because I've learned about his backstory, and I'm like, I cannot wait to get to Baldur's Gate. and
Oh
find
yeah,
out
I
what the
talk
hell
to
is
him.
going on
I
with
talk
him.
to him all the time. So I also think Asterion is great. He's just not in my party because he offers a redundant set of skills.
Yeah, you don't need him in your party. You can just go check in with them, and you can swap them out if you just feel like it. I'm sure they all have, hero missions or whatever.
Is
at
he
some
still
point
in the
where you-
wreckage though? Can I go get him?
Yeah, he's back in the ship. You missed him. He's on the left side, basically. Like if you found Gale, you went on the right side, but if you go through the ship on the other side, he's hanging out over there.
Oh, I think I
Even his
avoided it.
introduction is great. It's very memorable.
I think I avoided it because, as you can see in my map here, I didn't even explore that end because there
Yeah,
was some
see
brains
that
over
shadowy side on the left side of the map? He's over there.
there. Yes, it was full of those little shitty brain things. They were all over that place. I was like, I'm not fighting these anymore. I'm gonna go
Well,
north.
now you can kill him. You're probably high enough level to beat them. So
Yeah, I'm
you're
level
good.
whatever I am.
But yeah, no, he is like. I'm not going to tell you what to do in the game. You know, I don't want us to do that to each other. But you really should include Asterion in your playthrough. You really, really, really should.
Well, yeah, I need
He's
a
amazing.
rogue. I need a rogue, and I don't have a rogue.
And you need a rogue, but I think his vocal performance is like my favorite. Like everything he says is delicious and scary at the same time.
So he's
And I'm
not
like,
in one of
"Oh."
those pods, and I missed the pod during all the cinematic
His
tutorial.
pod is nearby, but no, he's not in the prologue. You'll just run into him in the forest.
Is he
Yeah,
going
like if
the
to?
way
you leave and go up that hill, you'll find it.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm not going to do it now, but when I do, is he going to be level 1 and have to catch up? How's this going to work?
No, they level everything gets leveled to where you are at.
All right.
Because that's when you leave people in camp and throw them in your party, they get scaled to where you're at, so you don't lose time with anything.
All right. See, look at these locked.
pretty-
I have locked boxes that I can't open for shit, and it's because I don't have a rogue, and I hate it.
Yeah, you need Asterion. Anyways, he's great. I don't know how we got on this. Oh, we were talking about romances because he's like, he's a strong contender. But I'm already in a romance. So Scott's romance, no one.
I'm trying. I'm working
But
on
his
it.
Heart belongs to Shadowheart.
She keeps telling me no. She keeps saying, "Oh, I don't know if our relationship." I'm like, "Come on, man. I've been so like considerate and kind, and what am I
Yeah,
supposed to
that's
do
fine.
here?"
You do whatever you want with your playthrough, but I think I'm Lazelle's little bitch, sex bitch. So there's a weird thing I didn't know about the Gith Yankee, or at least when you're a great Gith Yankee, you get awarded a dragon, and it's not like a slave master thing. It's like, but only the true warriors get a dragon, and I'm playing a Dragonborn, and she's kind of unnaturally horny around me because I'm a dragon.
Cheat.
Yeah, because the Gith Yankee, they're like, ugh, favorite elves. Ugh, you guys are all gross. We're from space, and you guys are gross little groundlings. But she looks at me and she sees a great dragon being, and she's kind of like, you're lesser than me, but you turn me on. I like your smell.
Yeah.
You want to come share smells? And I'm like, okay. So,
Holy shit!
yeah.
There he is. By the way, gosh dang it, he's right up this hill.
Yep, Scott found him.
Frick.
Didn't take long at all.
All I had to do is teleport. I really had no idea. I just thought I had to get out of there and start working toward the quest markers, and I don't know. It speaks a little bit to me, like, I don't know. Things were hard down there when I wasn't leveled yet. Things were difficult, these encounters. So I was like, well, I need to go somewhere where I can like work on some of this before I do that big fight in the basement or anywhere else where it's really challenging. And then I just went on my merry way and forgot about anything else that happened over there. So anyway, it's stupid.
Yeah, as chat room says, Lizelle has dragon fever.
Yeah, she does.
It's true, actually. So
Well, good for
that's
her.
been my romance. John, any romances for you?
Yeah, I got two.
Oh my gosh! Who?
Oh shit, polyamorous already.
Well, it just sort of worked out that way. Like,
Yeah.
I was like going in, and I was like, after I kind of seen the characters, I was like, all right, Karlach seems like the best, and is who I'm gonna pursue. Like, that's who I want to. That's who is gonna be my new favorite character in this game.
Yeah.
And so, in my effort to go find and recruit her
Yeah.
and get her on the team, Lizelle and I been through a lot. We disagreed. We
shit.
disagreed on methods on how things should get done, and we butted heads every now and then. And then finally, she was just like, "Hey, you know what? You do things really stupidly,
Yeah.
and I
Let's
don't
have sex."
understand them, and I don't understand you." And basically called me a piece of shit, and then was like, "But I find you so strangely attractive." And I
Yeah,
was like,
gosh,
you
yeah.
know what? I could say the same thing about you, Lizelle. And so That ended up happening, and then I was like, all right, well, one day we're gonna maybe hook up, is what she basically left it at. And then literally the next night, Karlach comes up and is like, I want to rip all your clothes off. And I was like, let's do it. So I don't know where all this is gonna go. There, you know, I don't want to get too spoilery. There are hurdles.
It's funny though.
But the game does relationships. I'll say this because this is talking broadly about systems, so I don't think it's that bad. This game isn't like Mass Effect. It's not like, yeah, who do you talk to the most, and then as a reward for getting to the end of the game, you get to see a sex scene. This game is more like these characters are out, they're on an adventure. Sometimes they're horny, sometimes they're not. They like to relieve pent-up stress with sex sometimes, and you can have that. But my understanding is that eventually a true relationship can come from all of this.
Yeah, you
It's
bang
not
first
like-
and hate each other later. instead
Yeah.
of-
It's not like, oh, I had sex, romance unlocked. It's no, you just had sex. If you want to romance somebody, that's later.
You're right.
And what that person may or may not be into, or may not be okay with you doing, kind of depends on the person.
Yeah. I'm finding
When you-
Shadowheart is not interested in anything ever. And you know what? It feels like it's just high school again for me. Like this.
Okay, so can I ask you though? Because I feel like I'm getting in with her, and the key is not to invade her privacy.
Yeah, she hates
So
it.
how many
Yeah, she doesn't like
times
that.
have you probed her thoughts and pushed her with questioning?
Hardly any. Only a couple of times, but she's always, her dialogue trees are always
Oh,
filled
you've
with
only
that.
probed her mind a couple of
Scott's
times.
like, I only
Once.
read a few of her emails.
I probed her mind one time because I just wanted to know what that mechanic did. I didn't really know what was going on there. Secondly, it's mostly just been
She gives-
dialogue at camp where I just say, "Oh, I don't want to bug you if this is bugging you," and she'd say, "Yes, it sort of is. We'll talk later," and she kicks me out or.
All right,
I
we'll
go
keep
away.
at it. I think she's just harder. Lazelle's like a bro. Like she's like a warrior. She's just like, you want to bang? Like that's
Yeah, she's a Klingon.
Shadowheart.
horny
Shadowheart's
Klingon.
like, I think you got to work. You got to.
Yeah,
build
she's a
trust with her.
cleric, man. You don't just hook up with a cleric.
No. Plus, she's got the weird, mysterious freaking cube ball thing she keeps in her pants. I don't know what that's about. Still. Yeah. So yeah, it really does kind of mirror my my virginistic younger years, where it was just like, I don't know, maybe she likes me.
I like
that,
you.
That girl's cute. Oh, she doesn't like me though. Like that kind of life. That was me. So this is all working out about how I probably should expect it to work out.
Yeah, but so Chatroom says you can bang everyone without consequences. So
Including Glenn, because I don't want to go anywhere near Glenn. Glenn drives me
Gale?
up. Or,
Gale?
sorry, Gail.
I was like, who the hell is Glenn?
Sorry,
I
Gail.
don't know.
Gail-
I find, you know what, you were hard on Glenn. You were hard on Gail. You were hard on Gale last week, and I'm like, he must be awful. But you know what? I kind of find him a little charming. I got.
Gale
yeah.
is great. I don't
was-
know what Scott's problem
Yeah.
is.
Every 10 feet, he's like, oh, do you have a magical item I can eat? 'Cause
Oh,
I'm-
no, never mind. I figured out what Scott's problem is. He takes his magic.
Takes my
Chores.
magic shit.
Chores.
I don't like it. I don't like that stuff. Plus, he
It'll,
just is such a
Scott,
bastard.
it'll get better. There's lots of magic items to be found. You'll be
All
fine
right, I'll
soon.
be fine.
Gale is great. I've also been shocked by Scott's disdain for him. Now, I also don't love giving him magical items, and I thought maybe I could circumvent the need by keeping him at camp, which
Yeah.
does not work.
Doesn't
He
work.
He will still want a magical item when you get back to camp. But I thought I was being really clever. I was like, hey, you know what? Lae'zel, Karlach, you can come with me. We'll take Will, and Gale, you can hang out at camp with, and we'll be fine.
I mean, maybe you
And,
should try banging him. Maybe he'll realize he doesn't need magical items if he's
Now-
making love to you.
Just
It's
need your
funny you
magical
mention
wiener.
Gale and romance because my first character, everyone thought I was in a romance with Gale, and I was the last person to find out about it. I don't know where this came from, but I got to a point in camp where I'm talking to everybody, and like Gale was the first person I talked to, and maybe that was it. But I was just like, I was going in a clockwise fashion around the camp. Like it wasn't for any personal reason. But I walked up to him and he was being a little flirty, but I didn't think I was being flirty back. I thought I was just being nice. And then I go and I start talking to other people at the camp, and Shadowheart's like, boy, you and Gale sure are getting cozy. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And she's like, hey, I'm not gonna judge. I just, I wish it had been me. Like, it'd been
Let-
real
let- let me-
forlorn. And I was like,
Let me ask you, because he likes to drone on and on about inane details.
Yes,
Do
he
you sit
does.
through all of it and listen to all of it?
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's why. Everyone else sees you everyone's like, God, Gail's so annoying. And you're like, go on, I want to hear your tales. I'm like, you must like the guy. Yeah.
I just don't
Interesting.
trust him.
I almost just threw out spoilers. I got to rein myself in a little bit, but like, he's got an interesting story. When you listen to him, the man's done things. Like,
He's seen stuff. He's been places. He just seems like he's full of shit most of the time.
Yeah,
So-
he's like, he talks about his award-winning smile
Yeah.
and how he's great company at Nobel parties, and it's like, okay, dude,
I
like,
don't trust people who
you
do
know,
that.
like,
Yeah.
he's I like the character. Like, I think he's well performed, but like, he's definitely not my favorite. But I still like Scott made him sound terrible.
Oh
and I
no,
was
I
like,
don't mean
"Okay."
he's terrible like in a game breaking way. He's in fact, if anything, this is a compliment because they have built a character that is nuanced and interesting, but in ways that are abrasive to me if I knew this guy in real life. But it's really good characterization. Like the game.
one character.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're not finished. Sorry.
Well,
sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say if anything, this helps illustrate like John's whole. Well, I listened to all his stories, and now he's kind of after me or whatever. It illustrates one thing about this game that I'm a little blown away by, and that is just it feels a little magical. The way games used to feel when I was younger, where I would be like, "This isn't no people made this. This game just was handed down from the heavens or something." Because how could something this complex even be on my computer? How is this possible that I could have a notion and then actually the notion happens? And like all of this interweaved stuff feels crazy, which gets to the whole point of people saying it's going to set too high an expectation for anyone making a CRPG in the future. I kind of get it now.
They're saying it for video games, though.
That's what I mean.
The other crazy thing is people are saying it's setting too high of expectation for video games.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like if computer RPGs in this vein, like I don't know, what are some other ones? The old Baldur's Gates, obviously, and
I think Disco Elysium is very well written, very on
Sure.
the nose about knowing what I'm thinking and how I'll react to it, and having everything make sense in that way that you're describing.
And that's crazy to me. Even though the game was announced 6 years ago or something. I don't know how much work they'd done before that, before announcing it, or what actually goes into making a game like this. But it's mind blowing to me how interweaved everything is, and how it actually makes me a little hesitant to do almost anything when I'm not sure what to do. Like D&D a little bit. It's like I'll come up to a situation and go, this isn't like a normal game where I know where I'm going and I know how it's going to end if I just do the thing. This is me going, do I roll a bunch of perception things? Do I send her out first because maybe that's a good idea? When I talk to that goblin, is he the right goblin? Like I'm asking myself questions that games don't normally make me ask, and I'm blown away by that. And even more than their previous game. I thought Divinity's the original Sin 2 was an amazing game. It's not this level of that interweaved sort of thing. And I don't know, I can't say enough about it. It's really impressive.
And
Gotta
much
say-
like actual D&D, you are rewarded for that experimentation too, where it's like you get that stray thought of, I just push this goblin off this cliff.
Yeah.
Would anybody notice? Would anyone know?
Yeah.
Should I just do it? And then you kind of get that nervousness of like, I have the freedom and the tools to do it. And then you go, I'll do it. And you do it. And you just feel rewarded for it. It's like, because that's where the fun is with this game, is just making it work the way you want it to work.
And it subverts the
game
expectations.
building around you.
Because old-timey brain of mine says, well, when I'm up on a cliff and I push someone off, they're going to hit like an invisible wall and not really fall off. And any loot they drop will kind of conveniently be at his feet, where he is now on this cliff. He's not going to really do it. But when you first push your first goblin or any other creature off a thing, or you get pushed off a thing, it's shocking. You're like, shit, this world lets me do that? And now he's way down there and he's injured, but he's also got some kind of, bow that's kicking my ass, and now he's far away from me and I can't do anything but melee him because of the character I went up there to push him with. Like it puts you in scenarios that feel impossible for a game to do, because games are about programming and scripting, and you go here, you do this. This game is more like, do whatever you want. There will be consequences one way or the other, and you don't really know. You can't predict what these are going to be. The only predicting you can do is after you've seen a story bit once, and you may run through it again with another run. That's it. Everything else feels all up in the air, how it's all going to go down. And I think that's hard as shit. So last week I was like, oh, you bunch of babies, just make a better game. Games improve all the time. We're always upping the bar. What are you worried about? Now I think I get the complaint. Not complaint, but the worry. I think I understand why devs are like, ugh. Because this is really something,
I think the game models are also like you end up streamlining, like the first, because even that Sven guy was out doing interviews about this question. I read a bit, and he was surprised by it. And the example he used was like the first Assassin's Creed said this was going to change games forever,
right?
But now you're like, okay, it's an open world game, whether it's Assassin's Creed or something else, because like they build a structure and expertise that spits out one kind of game, and it just kind of becomes more soulless.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing with these narrative games is just the writing. Like, yes, technically there's a lot to the game as well, but I think like there's just something to be said about really good branching narrative, and I don't think you get it that often.
Yeah, and then when the mechanics so seamlessly support the branch, right? That's the key. Is you
like
can
Mass Effect was a good example of that.
Sure, sure. But being able to say, here's some really complex narrative, and you just took part in it and made some hard decisions and made it go a certain direction, and then the game can confidently, mechanically carry you through your decisions, that just feels impossible. But it works. It totally works.
I think that's an investment where you could just make the same story for everyone, and to investors that it's saleable, and the public.
Right.
There's different game genres, right? You can't make Mario Kart have branching narrative, like it's. So it's making. I mean,
you could, but it'd be weird, right?
CRPGs are already kind of a hard, like, I mean, BioWare was the, shining light in the CRPG genre, and look at what EA's done to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think if you're making big CRPGs or even online role-playing games, and you get into that stratified bureaucratic structure, it's kind of the death of it. I think good CRPGs have to like live on the fringes. I don't think AAA can do it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But see, this is a case where a
place.
AAA game has been made despite all that. And it's not because they're a AAA studio. Larian's still independent. They aren't owned by anybody.
That's what I mean.
And it's impressive. It's so impressive. Like, no one else is
I
doing
think the
this.
studio still has it. I think it's when they get acquired by a bigger group.
Yeah.
Like if you get acquired by Microsoft and you're like, oh, I need an online solution that plays my game right. Well, they're like, well, how about you use our Azure services?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like your Azure service. They don't. I need something custom tailored. Well, you're owned by Microsoft. Why would you go somewhere else or do something else? Use Azure, and then like it's probably not great. Like how BioWare had to use the FIFA engine to make the role-playing games, and their tickets would not take priority over FIFA tickets. Like that all creates debt, like for getting the product out in time and doing things because you're second fiddle in the corporate structure. I just think, I don't think AAA will do it because AAA, I think these are really ambitious projects made by people who are passionate about it, and I think there are people who are passionate about these things that make those games the AAAs, but they're not in leadership, and they're not the stake shareholders.
Yeah.
So they get squeezed for their passion, and whatever comes out comes out. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
So I think that's right. I think AAA is not going to make games as good as this.
Yeah. But this thing is selling like the AAA wishes. Like, I wonder. This is just Steam sales so far, right? Or I guess Epic has it. But the PC sales right now, you got PS5's relative console exclusivity coming up in less than a month now for this same game. It's expected to sell really well there. They'll get a Xbox version out after that. I don't know if a Switch version happens. It plays really well on my Steam Deck, so I don't know. There's hope, I guess, for a portable. But yeah, like I feel like this is going to wake up some. I hope it does. I hope it has that knock-on effect. And also notice this game is one of those games that has zero microtransactions of any kind. You buy the game and you play the game. That's it. And I just love how that feels, but also seeing it dressed in such beautiful clothes. You know what I mean?
I think but think about Tarantino, right? Like when Pulp Fiction got big, Hollywood for a while chased the trend of, we can make a chatty crime movie, and we don't have to have a big budget, and we can get big actors to just say a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Like 28 Days, I think. Not 28 Days. Was it 2.5 weeks?
Right.
I don't know. There's a whole glut of Tarantino alikes at the time after Pulp Fiction had come out, and they were not that good.
No, they're not.
And it's because it's like, no one's going to do Tarantino like Tarantino, and like honestly, no one's going to do Larian like Larian.
Yeah.
So it just seems to us like there's so many examples of role-playing games. It seems so easy, but I think you have to have the studio and the talent. Like it takes, and that's what he was saying. It takes those specializations within the company or the enterprise,
right,
to even get there.
Yeah, I agree. Chat room, someone said something interesting. Benjamin says $10 cheaper than D4 as well, and other new games. That's the other thing. The entry to this thing and what you're getting for your money is bonkers.
Well, and that's where I don't necessarily have faith that this is going to be a good wake-up call for the industry, is because the gut reaction was for people to say, well, you can't hold us to that standard.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, oh, sweet, I hope that this catches on so we can chase that and do that too. It immediately turned into, well, they're a special circumstance. Like immediately excuses started to be made why Larian is the only one who can do something like this. And that's honestly bullshit.
That's defense, because it should be, the thing you should be saying, like what that guy said is bullshit. The thing you should be saying is like, wow, I admire this game. I wish I could make games like that. I wish we could make games like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if it's like, no, we can't. It's not possible. But don't say like this is like the way that it was framed. This is an outlier, or like, and it's not possible for it's not possible for the guys with billions of dollars to be as good as the guy with very little money. Yeah. Doesn't hit the way, like it's a really, you shouldn't even be thinking that way. You should be like, man, I'd really love to make a game like that, and that's it. I'd really love to. Yeah. How can we do this? Or just say like, we don't make those kinds of games, but if I could, I would. That kind of thing. Like I think that's right. Like Elden Ring, they're saying Elden Ring is not an outlier. I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have to be an outlier. You don't say like, oh, Zelda raised the bar so high we can't make games like that, or Elden Ring. Like people didn't really say that much.
No,
it just looks harder because there's more lines of dialogue. But if some person can do it, then
people
they can
make it.
And you know what? All this praise for all these games, I feel like it's true of Tears of the Kingdom, maybe less true of Elden Ring, but I think still true of Elden Ring too. Like when you get right down to it, definitely true of Baldur's Gate 3. It's not like they're the most graphically impressive video games of all time. They look good. I play Baldur's Gate 3 and I go, oh, this looks really great.
Yeah.
But it's not like it is pushing the cutting edge of graphics and fidelity. Like it kind of goes back to the drum that I feel like I've been banging for so long, which is just like, guys, it's just like, guys, you don't have to chase these insane budgets to have the game that's going to look the best. Like, just make good video games. And
well,
people will respond to that. But I feel like we are just in this glut of, well, how are we going to monetize? How are we going to games as a service? How are we going to battle pass? How are we going to what graphics do we need to push to make this, so impressive that it can't play on any system? And I ended up loving Cyberpunk 2077. I can't wait for the expansion. By all accounts, it sounds like that's going to be the second coming of that game, or maybe the third if you're going to count the kind of revival after the anime. Mm-hmm. But the anime showed that game's merits weren't in the graphics. I didn't fall in love with the anime because it had the best graphics. That's not what it was about, and that's not what it needed to be about for the game itself. In fact, the amount of times I played Cyberpunk and was like, if this looked like the anime, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be alright
Like,
with that too.
You
Yeah.
don't always have to chase technical proficiency. You just have to chase like making a quality product that people don't feel like is taking advantage of them.
You also, and that's a really good point, and I totally agree with it. But we're also thankfully, or we should be thankfully, in a place where there is, you can hit your aesthetics much easier than you used to be able to. You don't have to, like you said, you don't have to go for the cutting edge and be out there on the tip of the Unreal 5.5 engine. You can be somewhere a ways back, because it turns out a ways back is pretty awesome still. Like, we are at a kind of a crescendo right now graphically. It's no longer the leaps it used to be. We're kind of on a slower upper curve. So make these experiences across that known space. So you're not these games won't launch as a graphical mess and have to wait for 50 patches to be fixed. Like, if this game right here looked like a lower poly, I don't know, like if it looked like the first original Sin, I'd be fine with it. If it was written and built and behaved like it's behaving, I wouldn't care. And like you said, these graphics aren't these aren't the drop deads anyway. This is somewhere on the curve. And I think we should
It's not a flawless experience either. I've
No.
had 2 crashes. I've seen weird things. There's a cup that always seems to be floating around my camp for some reason. There's a goblin that was hovering outside of a cage. Like, it hasn't been a flawless experience, but where are the gamers with their pitchforks for Larry? And I guess there's a double standard. Not really. The difference is people don't feel like they're being taken advantage of, and all of a sudden you feel a little more willing to go, you know what, this game is giving me so much, and it's so massive, and it's so big, like, and I know there's so much going on that I can occasionally forgive the fact that there's a cup floating in the background.
Yeah. But it's
That's
also
fine.
the kind of the game that 20 more hours in, you'll go to camp and suddenly that cup will speak to you and you go, oh shit. Like,
oh, it was a story cup.
yeah, I
My
wouldn't be
bad.
surprised. Like, that's what I'm saying about the breadth and depth of the game. I'm not taking any of that stuff for granted, even though I've seen glitches too. But I'm like, that goblin, why did he move like that? And probably because it's polygonal mess. I don't know. But part of my brain goes, but maybe he's about to turn into some kind of tiefling monstrosity, and I got to keep my eye on him. Like, that's, again, to the credit of the game. It's a really special experience, and it's going to take us forever to play it. Like, if Bo, who has had them,
It really is.
Bo's been playing every night, right? After work, you play.
I have 1 week in. I have 77 hours.
Yeah, and you're not out of Act 1.
Oh, sorry, 86.9. I am not out of Act 1. And like I said, I'm underground, and I thought, surely I must be done. Nope, we're going deeper, much deeper, and the map looks pretty big. So if you're looking at that surface map going, all I got to do is clear all that, and I'll be done and move on to Act 2. Nope. There's a lot more. And if Act 1, I'm assuming, is the smallest of the acts, I think if I ever get to Baldur's Gate, it's going to blow my brain off with how much shit there is in this place. Like, I don't know how these reviewers are finished. I mean, that's another thing worth saying. They were, some of the devs were tweeting out, "Oh, we're happy with our Metacritic scores because it's 1 point above Tears of the Kingdom at 97." Doesn't matter where it is relative to Zelda, though. Really, the key is it's over 90. Both or 9, both in user score and critic score, and IGN turned in a perfect 10, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's like, major outlet stamping the 10 on it.
Yeah.
I am like, guys, core listeners, buckle up. I hope you like CRPG and Baldur's Gate 3. One playthrough might take me till Christmas. Like, I'm legit concerned. Because I don't zoom through it. I look under every little rock. You even know, for me playing D&D, I'll get lost in details like, what's the velocity of people flying down a shaft? We got to get this math question correct.
Mm-hmm.
And this, and I might want to do another playthrough when I'm done. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But,
You're
yeah,
further than the IGN guys. They're
Yeah.
They're right now only 55 hours in. You're probably the furthest of anyone I know, and you're still in Act 1. That's really says something.
Oh, really?
That's the other thing, is how'd they review it. Like, I do genuinely wonder, how do you
Well,
It's
I mean,
pretty
does it say
clear.
review in progress.
It's a review in
but,
progress. They don't have it. There's no score yet from
It's
them.
pretty
Okay,
clear it's a
okay.
10 though, right? If you're like, name me a CRPG that has amazing production value. You know, if I want a computer role-playing game that follows a rule system religiously, has great graphics and production value, awesome voice acting, a good story. I can already tell you the story's good by now. Like, you know, they'd have to literally like destroy your computer to earn less than a 10. Like your computer would have to explode in the middle of Act 2 and melt into a pile of shit. You know, even if the only good part was Act 1. Act 1 is so good.
Oh,
It
it's
just
so good.
it just seems pretty obvious. I know I'm the guy who's just like give everything a 10, but this like seriously, if anyone who gives this like less than a 9, like you're
Either
you're
you were the
jealous.
wrong
You
guy to
need
review
see
it.
a therapist.
Yeah, or
you
something.
have
You were the wrong reviewer for the job.
If all you like is racing games, don't put that guy in that review, all right? Because that's not your guy. But yeah, I agree with you. The level cap in 5e is 20, right? So
Yeah.
is this? I assume this one's also a level
12.
cap of 20. Is it
12.
12 is all?
12.
Okay. So if you have played 77 hours and you're not out of Act 1, are you? Maybe it doesn't matter because who cares? It's a different kind of thing than just leveling all the time in D&D anyway. But if you hit 12 and you're not out of Act 1 yet, are you worried about that at all? You're cool with that? Swaps?
No, I'm totally good because there. I have yet to guess, but I think there are going to be other systems that allow you to progress outside of the levels. You got gear, you've got that I'm sort of vaguely aware about, but I don't know if you guys are. But eh, basically, you're not going to. You might not level according to the D&D way of leveling, but there might be like a Paragon system, let's say.
Okay.
Another way of growing your character that isn't going to 20 in D&D. Because a lot of the spells at high level are like, snap your fingers and go to hell, you know, or go to any plane in the universe. It's like, so we gotta program the entire astral plane to make gate, you know, like they can't do it, right? But I think what I expect is that there is a secondary leveling system, and it'll, you know, outside of getting to the levels, like Paragon's the best analog, in Diablo 3. You stop leveling, but you grow in other ways.
Keep going, yeah.
So I think there's a grow in other ways system later.
What I was going to say about that is that's great. I'm totally stoked about that idea, but I like the camping equipment and food and stuff that lets you do long rests and short rests. That feels like a DM did that. And everything in this game that veers from the tabletop experience because video game, right? Feels like a DM did it. Doesn't feel slapped on, doesn't feel arbitrary. It's like, well, in order to make this make sense, we're going to have you rest. How do we do that? Accumulate a bunch of food and camping crap.
Or a
and
system
then
meant
use
to
it.
keep you busy so you'll do microtransactions.
But yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But
there's no food store where you can buy your food.
yeah, exactly. But it does it in this way that felt like a DM said, here's the best way to handle this problem. You've done that with our stuff. It's like we had certain things we had to do differently because it was set in a desert all the time. It wasn't a place where we had a lot of water or whatever. So you have your own little rule set on top, and it just feels like Larian said, here's 5e, and we're really into it, and we're going to keep 5e. Here it is. It's going. But then on top of that, here's a little layer of Larian rules that say these new ideas and stuff. And I love how that feels. It doesn't feel, like I said, doesn't feel tacked on or stupid.
Yeah, no, that's I know because there's no real charge in D&D. Like you just say I run and tackle or something like that. But charge is a video game move, and I've already seen enemies who do like basically the charge from Divinity, and I'm like, that's not a D&D move, but it looks cool and makes sense. It's a charge, so
fits.
There's definitely already attacks on there. But then there's D&D shit. I was fighting a boss with a crazy weapon, and the weapon, I died the first time I tried this boss. But the thing is, you reload and you're like, let me try this again. It has the great D&D stuff of command is a great spell. If it hits, force the enemy to do nothing and drop their weapon. Opening round, make them drop a weapon. Lizelle picks up the weapon, equips it, and starts smacking it. Like it's on the ground. I can just pick it up, and it's the best weapon I have now.
Yeah.
And then I completely the enemy's punching for like nothing damage. So it's also like when you look at these encounters, you have to think like you're supposed to think like, what's the worst thing I could do to my opponent, right? It's not, is my DPS high enough so that I can tank the damage and hit the monsters? It's like, how do I throw them into a bottomless pit? How do I steal their weapon and make them drop it on the ground? Like everything is like this D&D style puzzle, like you said, like like you're foiling the DM spent all night trying to make an interesting encounter.
Yeah.
How can I ruin his day by trivializing it completely?
Yeah, and it lets you do
Yeah.
it. Like you can do it. Well, it's like you can in D&D.
Yeah, I
and
punched a boss down an abyss and killed him in like not one hit, but like so I kept rolling ones against this guy and I wasn't really expecting him, and he like my party was in a rough spot because I thought I was done. I didn't realize I was walking into a big encounter. And next thing I know, I'm fighting like 5 goblins and this boss that I was supposed to kill. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not ready for this fight. I came in at like half health, all my spells spent, and like I just start getting ones over and over and over and over again. And one party member goes down, and then another party member goes down, and then another party member goes down, and I've got one party member low health and a boss that goes bling and heals like all his health back.
Ugh.
And I go and swing, I miss. And I was like, this is going to be a reload. And then I just look at the shove command.
I love shove.
I
Is it
go-
Karlach? This is Karlach, right?
This wasn't. This was on my playthrough
Oh.
where I didn't get her yet. So it was
Okay.
probably Lizelle. And
Okay.
Lizelle just goes, and
Push.
off he goes into the abyss. Boss defeated. Everybody pops up. He had damn near full health. And the only downside, as I would find out on my second character, is that character had some pretty good loot on them that I missed out on
yeah.
because they were at the bottom of a pit.
But we've
But,
experienced that in 5e as well, right? Like
Yeah.
stuff that got sucked into. I remember having the sandstorm stuff, and I lost that staff, and I couldn't never get it.
Yeah.
That's
and
a-
there's
that's a-
Zorander's fist. Varel. I made an item just for Varel, a big fist weapon, and I think he just threw it aside in disinterest or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he's Varel, and he's like, whatever.
And it's D&D, so it lets you do it. The same thing happened with this. You know, were laughing at me earlier, and I'm laughing at myself for not knowing that the rogue was over there on the other side of the ship crash. But it let me do it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Even that F up is kind of not. It's kind of part of the game in a weird. It's so good.
Yeah, so I want to. I can't wait till we've all played through and we can kind of compare things. But you've gone to that first town where the goblins are, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you got,
I spent a
did you
lot
meet
of
the
time
three-
there.
Did you meet the 3 ogres in the house that were chatting? And there's the one enlightened one who can speak intelligently.
No.
Yeah, I found out why too. That was amazing.
I didn't.
Oh, I
see
don't know
them.
why. I don't know why.
I did
actually.
find out why, because so the first time I met them, I talked my way out of it, as I was doing plenty of times. The second time, I was trying to Metal Gear Solid my way through the town and take out packs of goblins without alerting other packs of goblins.
Yeah.
And I got to them, and the town was already pretty much dead. And so I was just like, you know what, let's just fight them. So I got in a fight with all of them, killed them, got a chance to loot them. And there's a funny thing, you know, if you know these ogres, they're arguing over what they're eating tastes like,
Yeah.
the meat they're eating. The one that said it tastes like chicken had chicken as his inventory item. The one that said it tastes like, it was chicken. And then the enlightened one says it tastes like pork, but the other one said it was something else. He had whatever the other thing was in his inventory. So they were eating different meat. So they were both right.
Yeah.
But then I looted the enlightened one, and he has a magical headpiece that, when equipped, ups your intelligence score to 17.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh wow.
That's cool. And you know what's funny about that for me, that conversation, is I'm playing a bard. I got rid of the rogue levels. I'm just full Dragonborn bard now.
Yeah.
So I like to talk my way out of things. So I managed to talk my way into a deal where I'll pay him I paid him to switch sides from the goblins to my side. So I have a horn, and when he blows it, him and the two teammates are gonna come kick ass for me. But I gotta pay him 1,000 gold, or he'll kill me.
Wow.
So I'm trying to keep 1,000 gold on hand so I can blow that horn when I need to.
I did get the horn as well, though it doesn't do anything because he's dead.
Oh, 'cause
Oh yeah,
not-
no. He said blow the horn and I'll come beat up whoever you want, and just make sure you have my money.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah,
so you
see,
haven't-
now
you
that's
didn't-
funny.
yeah.
You saw the thing and you didn't get any of that resolution. John saw the thing, got a whole other aspect to it. I didn't see him at all, and now I want to go back to the town and find out what the hell you guys are talking about. What other game does this? You know? Like when
Yeah,
Starfield comes out, are we going to have anything near this? Like I feel like Starfield's got its money. It's got its money cut out for it.
Starfield, like that last preview of Starfield looked really good. It really changed my opinion on Starfield, but it is gonna have to be very, very impressive. And I think they could do it. You know, that it's not like it's one for one. It's not like you're gonna be comparing apples to apples. Like it can be a very good, different thing. But I mean, boy, game of the year on a year that seemed real contentious got real easy these past couple days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, like there's a lot of really good games out there, but right now I kind of feel like for my interests, like number one is a lock already at this point. I'm gonna pull a Scott Johnson and in August say game of the year. But
No,
like
I'm right there with you.
I genuinely don't know how a game can surpass.
I
the
do too.
experience
I
I'm
think
having
the
with
only
this.
one that has a chance to do it. I'm sure we'll have some great 2, 3s, and 4s on our list, but for anything to do it, the only real contender might be Starfield, and it's a tall order. I don't know how they do it.
Starfield has a chance because it's
Starfield
an
and
unknown
Zelda.
quantity, but
Yeah,
Isn't
Zelda. I
Zelda
guess.
the other one. Yeah.
well, I haven't played it. There's no way Zelda's gonna be number one on my list.
No,
'cause
but-
I haven't played it and won't have played it.
Yeah.
Not for us, but I just mean also in a more, you know,
Right.
we might, I don't know. I don't know what our friendship with Jeff Keighley is going to be like after this year's VGAs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been so strong up till now. So who knows?
Yeah,
where
he
it'll
calls
go.
us every day. He's like, you guys are just doing amazing work.
Mhm.
Let me
don't
go
go in-
introduce you to all my
I mean,
friends.
we got to co-stream that this year, right? Like, I feel like I have a horse in the race. This
Oh, hell
year,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think it. I don't see how it doesn't win. The only thing, like I said, like until we see it for ourselves and play it and see what Starfield's really got to have on offer, and it may be a totally different kind of game, but if it wants to be this level of, I don't like the word perfection, this level of achievement, they're really going to have to pull it all out. I'm sure they know that. Everybody I know in the entire dev community that I follow, they're all playing this. Everybody. Nobody's not
Yeah.
playing this. Like it's insane.
I feel like it's like, I get if you don't play CRPGs and don't want to play it, that's fine. But if you play games generally, you're crazy not to play this or give it a try.
Yeah.
Said this, it's easy enough on easy mode, I think, and you'll definitely enjoy it. And
Well,
yeah,
How often do we get a game that is such a solid single player and multiplayer experience?
Mhm.
Like that's the thing is usually a game is good at one or the other, but by
Yeah,
all
I don't-
accounts,
I
this
don't-
game is extraordinarily solid on both fronts.
Yeah.
in theory it is, but we're not playing. So
That's
but
a
I've
time
had
thing.
some.
though.
I've had some multiplayer experience with Mike and Crofton.
Oh, what'd you tell us? How did that
and-
go?
Is that the game or is that Mike and
Yeah,
Croft?
what is that
So
exactly?
it took me a long time to get them to have the right habits because it's very easy to be chaotic in this game,
Mhm.
and then everything you can't follow anything, and it's bad. And Scott, you played with Mike and Crofton,
Oh, yeah.
so you know a little bit of what I deal with. Crofton steals all the time. They're both talking to NPCs across on the other side of the map, and I'm like, please play together, everyone. We're a
Right.
party, like.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a problem getting sometimes people to play, even on our tabletop games, to play second fiddle. You guys on TWBD were really good, but a lot of play groups have a problem where it's not my turn-itis.
Yeah.
So when it's my turn, I'm all into it, and then when it's not my turn, it's phone, cracking jokes with friends, and then not paying attention to the person whose turn. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's really disrespect. Like when it's your turn, we're watching you do your thing. So now you please observe the same respect for your players.
Yeah.
And I just hate being a wet blanket because yes, we're here to have fun. I'm not here to parent people, but yeah, Mike and Crofton, Crofton in particular, can be pretty bad.
So the answer is
So-
yes, it is a Crofton and Mike problem.
So I've done to train them. I know Mike listens. I don't think Crofton may listen now that he knows I'm talking about him. So if you're listening, I trained you to play Divinity properly. It took me years. And then we stopped playing for a while, and all that work is undone in the first session of Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
Now, Mike's not bad. Mike's pretty good, but he made a himbo mage, which I didn't like it at first, but I'm like, it's fine. He has a vision in mind. It's okay. But he's a surfer guy. Like, he's like a Ken doll with lip gloss
Wow.
and stuff. He's like, hey, dudes, how's it going, man? And like, but it works. I trust his vision. And Crofton gets to be a thieving little halfling rogue, and that's great.
All right.
But we have another friend that we know in real life who we invited to play.
Yeah.
Breck. He's very shy, so he's probably gonna be even mad that I said his name. He doesn't
Brack,
like to be on
the cartoon character from
I
Adult
was
Swim.
gonna say from
Not
Space
Brack.
Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Not Brack.
Ding,
Breck.
fries are done. Ding, fries
Breck.
are done. That guy.
I think Lizelle, like AE Breck. Not Breck.
Breck. Okay. Got it.
Breck. And he's like, join us. And he's getting caught up in the hype, so it's our first session. And we're in the Nautiloid. And I'm it's like, all right, let's get Shadowheart out. We gotta go find the key. Let's find the key. We're having a laugh because everyone's trying to get her out and they're failing their rolls. And I see like a perception check failed. And then Crofton says, like, what's this perception check failed mean? And I'm like, oh no. The barbarian's robbing from us. So Breck is immediately stealing from all of us. And I'm like, please get it out now. Except then we release Shadowheart, and he steals from Shadowheart before we can dialogue with her. She aggroes,
Oh,
and we get into combat with Shadowheart, and we kill Shadowheart.
What?
And I'm like,
you're gonna destroy Scott. He's been just
Oh.
posting like every.
I
I don't know if it's his personal screenshot folder or what, but he's just been showing
like-
pictures of Shadowheart to the chat he loves her so much.
We're just on Discord, but I think you can hear in the tone of my voice that I'm pretty grumpy at this point. So I'm like, you just killed a major NPC that we could bring to our camp.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I thought this was a sandbox and we could have fun. And I'm like, not GTA fun. This is a D. And then I'm like, I'm becoming that guy. You're not playing D&D right in our play group.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but really, no, we can't do this. I'm like, I can only deal with one Crofton. I cannot deal with two. If we have to play this way, it is going to suck.
It's not going to be great. Yeah.
So, I can... D&D's bad with not a good group of people. People have personality problems, and and I'm here to tell you that multiplayer Baldur's Gate 3 also subject to the same problem.
Yeah, there's no way to streamline it so that your players behave. So at least
But
in Overwatch or some shooter, you're bing bing bang, everybody's shooting each other and you're trying to win. Then you can be a-holes between matches or whatever.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
you're still kind of
Yeah.
stuck with where you're at and what you're shooting. Whereas this is, you have to coordinate just like a tabletop version of this. So
Yeah, it's like, okay, this character's chatting with this other NPC. Please come and listen and observe them. Don't go off and be bored and it's.
yeah,
So I have training in my future. You guys, I wouldn't have to train. I wish we were playing.
yeah.
Bo
But Mike
basically
Crofton-
described my first 4E D&D experience.
Oh,
was
really?
Basically, what he just described.
Like, I can
was
do
like,
whatever I want. I
everybody-
take out my dick. It's
right,
like,
everybody
okay,
else
like-
on one page and one other person that's like, we're gods. I'm gonna stab this lowly farmer asking for help.
Yeah.
Why? Because I can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's the problem.
all of
with
a
these
sudden you
things.
understand why religion exists. Like, it just makes you understand what has happened in this world. You're like, oh, this is why they invented it, was so that certain people that when they think nothing matters immediately go on killing rampages are somewhat held accountable.
Yeah, you got to control people. You're probably not wrong.
I mean, one time Crofton, when we were playing, and he was already, learned to play. They killed some orcs, and he's like, "Can I cut off their balls?" I was like, "Okay." Everyone's like, "Why do you want to do that?" He's like, "Because he can." So he cut off. He had a orc scrotum in his inventory, and I'm like, "It's like you would never do that. It wouldn't even be funny in real life. You know what I mean? If we were
No,
like
it'd be
fighting,
horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
it'd
awful.
just be like there's something mentally deranged about you. We need to get you help as soon as possible.
I mean, there are things like Nash was famous for like wanting to keep peelings from
No,
freaking
that was
vegetables.
adorable in a gross
Yeah, but
way.
that's the point.
In
is
a
it
gross
fit-
stay in your corner kind of way. But
It
like,
fit
I
the
get it.
character. It wasn't like a chaos machine, right? It was like these were meaningful choices for him. Whereas it sounds like Crofton's just like, can I cut off his balls? Yeah. Okay then. Woo!
I'm gonna do it.
I mean, some people take that whole like you can do anything in D&D a little too far. I can do anything,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, but there's also consequences to it, and you teach them, but then I don't know. Anyways, it's just when it's juvenile stuff that's like, okay, I think the group, even if they are different alignments, have to find some common ground to work together, or it just
Or you're not
becomes
going to be a
about-
good group.
It
Yeah.
just becomes about you, essentially.
Yeah, and
not about
if
the
this
team.
was real, you would die out there in the wilderness trying to be a group that can't get their shit together, and it's another.
Just find a way to be a rascal that isn't disruptive to the team.
Let me ask you this
though:
though: were these hot swaps within your game you were already running, or were these separate sessions?
No, we started a new session, and we
Okay.
only played like 4 hours in a bit. But one of the things I noticed about the game is like whoever's running ahead the most will set the pace for everyone else,
Yeah.
and it's a hard habit to learn to be like we have to go slower because someone's like there's somebody's talking to an NPC or we're dealing with this situation, so don't race ahead.
Yeah.
And we even have, I'm sure you had that multiplayer with Kyle, Garrett, and Kristen, John, where it's like you enter a new room, nothing much is going on, so it's a loot race.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like everyone's doing loot race. It's like I don't know. It's because I have my own save file. I'm a kind of okay to chill and just let everyone else have that kind of fun because I don't need to do it in the group.
Right.
But I just don't like when people don't work together and they kill major player characters for no reason.
Yeah, especially her.
I got
dude.
an X. What does it do? Like, goodbye,
She's a,
Shadowheart.
she's a saint. She's kind. She's healery. She's awesome. Don't kill her.
Well, he said, like, why did she attack me? And it's like, it's because you robbed her. And like, you literally
yeah.
reached. She got out of one danger, and then you stuck your hands in her pockets. Like,
Yeah. But again,
Gross.
even with Crofton in there acting like a monkey on fire,
he wasn't the worst one. He honestly wasn't the worst one.
But
It wasn't
but my
worse.
point is, like, even with bad behavior like that, the game impresses me because it's like here's a major character who has dialogue throughout the whole game, meaningful, well-read, paid a voice actor tons of money to be this woman. She's
Scott
gone
fell
now.
in love with her.
Yeah, she's gone now. She's
Yeah.
dead because Crofton got aggroed her. You fought her. She's dead. The whole rest of the game, no Shadowheart. That's crazy. No other video games do this very well. It's crazy.
Yeah, in fact, you can't even kill them. Your gun will lower, or you'll just
Yeah,
hit
or
a
they'll get on.
visible
They'll take a
wall.
knee, right? They'll be like, "Oh,
They're like, you're going to endure this voice acting because we paid a lot of money for it.
yeah."
and
It's like
on the box.
they pull a Templar in Diablo 3 where he just takes a knee and then comes back later after a little moment of reflection.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
will say I don't know if there's a way around it in this one because I have an important question for you after this, Scott. But
Oh gosh.
in Divinity Original Sin 2, you can kill the other named characters,
Mm.
but because they have the light of divinity in them, they come back.
Right.
Like they don't permanently actually die. You just won't see them for the rest of the act, but you'll encounter them later.
Right.
And in the Grand Clash for Divinity, you end up fighting them. I think some of them. But I think at the end of Act 3, if they die there, they die permanently. That's
Right.
when they die. But they
Right.
could be in your party and die too.
Yeah.
And then the final clash in Act 4 is whoever's remaining. In this game, now, do you both have Withers,
Yeah.
Scott? Do you have an NPC named Withers in your camp?
No.
Okay, so we have something else very important to tell you.
All right. Tell me what I missed again.
Withers
I
is
left
an
him at the
NPC in your
river.
camp
Yeah. Go ahead.
that has 3 services for you.
Uh-huh.
You can hire mercs, which I haven't tried yet, but I think it's just make your own other characters.
Yeah.
You can hire mercenaries. You can respec your class
Yeah.
for like 100 gold, costs nothing, and you can res characters.
Is that how you did your?
So I think with Withers, we might be able to get Shadowheart back.
Oh, interesting.
Well, so
you could revive her with a revive scroll, but she'd still be pissed, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I think it like if you basically, I think the service is there if you die by getting thrown into a pit and there's no way to res you from that situation, you can go to Withers
Yeah.
and Withers can res things. The reason why I mentioned it seems like crazy to go through your whole playthrough and not have the option to respec just because you didn't bother to find them. So there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of game ahead of you. Let me do you this one solid and spoil you a little bit.
Mm.
Have you been to the ruins north of the Nautiloid where
Uh,
the bandits are robbing stuff.
oh yeah, I've been up there. Bunch of fights
so
too.
in there's a secret chamber with Withers in a crypt, and you should go get him.
Shit. Did
You also get a pendant with Speak with Dead, and Speak with Dead is really fun. And so go pick that stuff up in there for sure. 100%.
I'm pretty sure the reason I didn't get to see him is there's stuff in there that I need a rogue for. And I didn't have a rogue.
For sure. There's some locked doors, and be careful of the pit. There's a little pit. And also just a shout out again, their design. If you haven't talked to them on the surface of the cathedral, the two NPCs that if you end up fighting them, you can talk them out of fighting you.
Yeah.
You can shoot the cement block above them and insta kill them by shooting the little thing and dropping.
I have killed some
cement on
stuff
them.
with that. Environmental kills are actually all
Yeah.
over the place. You just have to look for them.
Yeah.
They're great.
But I'm spoiling a lot, but it's a long game. Like if I spoil the first thing that happens in the game, there are still 5,000 unspoiled things for you, so don't worry.
Well, I
And
think there
also-
are going to be people like Withers is missable, obviously.
Yeah,
Scott
obviously.
mentioned. Like I think there is a service to that, and I will also give one more tip that I thought of because I missed it on a early level up, and then thought of it like when I hit level 3 and went, "Oh shoot, I can do that." You might assume because the game selects it for you automatically that when you hit a particular level with your characters and you get the chance to choose a specialization that you might be locked in on it,
Yep.
you can actually change it.
Mm.
So that's something that they don't make obvious. They do it for, I think, you, like when you get your opportunity on your character, I think they highlight it as something to choose. But for example, like with the fighter, it automatically picks, I don't think it's the champion. I think it's the battle master.
Mm.
Like it automatically picks battle master. Actually, I know the one for Gale. It automatically makes Gale an evocation mage.
Right. That did happen with
You
him.
you can click that and you can change it and you can pick something different than evocation.
And you can do it during
So-
camp, right? You can camp and do it. Or do I have that
you
wrong?
can
You need
can
Wither-
do
you
it
do
whenever
it-
you
Do you
you
need
can do it
withers for
without
that?
withers.
You can do it without withers.
withers as long
Oh.
as you do it when you level him up. That's the thing about the
Oh.
UI. The UI doesn't make it obvious because I don't remember when they get their school. It's like level 3. It might
3.
even be level 2.
It's level
But,
2 for
uh,
Is it
wizards.
2?
But when you hit level 2, it just says like evocation wizard on the UI. You have to click it and then you have the ability to change it.
Change it, yeah,
They
it's
don't
not
make
obvious.
it obvious that you can change it.
Yeah, there's a little
Ne-
branching thing on the left you're talking about where you can make
Yeah.
you can make deeper choices. Yeah.
Can I do? Do you know
so-
if the cleric lets cleric in 5e you can prepare their spells at a long rest for the next
you can
whatever.
Is it long rest? I thought it was any time.
I thought it
Long
was
rest?
long rest.
Okay, it's wizard is any time. You can whip out the spell book and
That's
I
what it
think
is.
wizard is long rest too.
Is it?
maybe
Well,
in the
so-
RPG, but in the game you can whip it out as long as you're in camp.
Yeah,
or-
and that's what I'm
actually,
saying.
cha-
is
you
I
can
Oh,
think,
change them
interesting,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, your
I'm-
prepared spells, you just open your book and prepare what you want. for
and
the
I'm
next
pretty
session.
sure
Oh,
that's
nice,
true for the
nice.
cleric as well in this, as opposed to the tabletop. So
I think so too. I haven't
Yeah.
really done it that much, but I think so. That's
I
what
like
it's
that.
one of the benefits of wizard over sorcerer and warlock, where
Mm-hmm.
sorcerer is like
Yeah.
you just have the spells you have and that's it.
Yeah. Can I? Okay, here's a question for you. Because I told you this last week. I really liked Will, so I chose him. I didn't make a custom character for this run, which is weird. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I like him. But if I wanted to respec him, can I do that, or is he locked?
You can respect anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, you
so-
probably just
so
need withers at this
You
point. now.
you have to go to Withers and for 100 bones he'll respec anybody.
I
Which
have
is kind of
to
nice.
wait. I have to bone him 100 times. Oh, you mean gold? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I was
yeah.
just-
No, he's
I was
into
just kidding.
bones. Actual bones.
He's bony. That's
I hope
for
you've
sure.
been
I'll give
picking
him-
up bones, but
You gotta
hopefully
bone
you
me
have.
100 times, and then you can get it. He'll say.
Yeah. The other thing is, just while you're mentioning Will too, Will was the least exciting of the NPCs, but then I saw what happened when I didn't let him kill Karlach, and his little mistress or his demon pact lord
Yeah.
punishes him, and he gets all like punished.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh shit, what? Oh yeah, you haven't got that far.
I haven't
Sorry.
got that far. No, it's okay. It's
well,
fine.
you know what?
It's
I mean,
fine.
he'll make it pretty clear if he hasn't, because you're his NPC. He's hunting Karlach, right? So you meet Karlach and you can decide, are you going to kill Karlach because your pact master told you, or are you going to spare her? And you can spare her and you will be punished for it. That's all
Really?
I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. But you'll still be able to play. You're not dead.
No.
Demons don't punish you.
No.
There's also no. So go get withers though. Like to the north in a chamber with skeletons lying on the ground.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's the right chamber. Look
Yeah.
for secrets in there.
It's an underground thing or inside of the.
It's in the chapel, which
chapel?
is the chapel is underground, but it's not really a dungeon or anything. Like it's not like underground. Like it's not the
Okay.
Underdark.
Yeah,
or
I have
anything.
been in there. I guess I think there's a door I couldn't get through. I'll bet that was it.
The door you couldn't get through is probably not it because there's some other looters deeper in.
Oh.
That's not the right one. There's a room with a bunch of skeletons
Okay.
just lying on the ground, and one of the exits is like a cavern.
Okay.
You'll know you're in the right place.
Okay.
Towards the back of the statue of, is it Seluna or Cargill? I think it's a statue of Cargill. There's a button that you have to percept to see back there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm just telling everyone that because I think everyone should have withers in their party.
Yeah, get Withers going. By the way, Left Hand Heathen in the chat reminded me of a PC Gamer article I also read. He says, I read someone who respect all the main party to rangers, summoned bears, and then left the party behind and just played the game as bears.
Yeah, there's a PC Gamer article about that.
That's crazy, right? It's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
awesome. That's amazing that you can even do it.
Bears aren't. I don't want to spoil it because it's too far away, but you should see what I did with mushrooms.
Really? Did you smoke them or did you eat them? Did you make soup?
Nope. I made life with mushrooms.
Whoa. All right.
And you might not even get to do that, so it's not even really a spoiler if you don't do the same choices I did.
John, this is how Last of Us started. They just made mushrooms and then.
Yeah, Last
Yeah,
of
you
Us
know-
is actually a Baldur's Gate 3 spinoff. People don't know that.
Now we can
Also,
say it.
If you like mushrooms, but there aren't enough video games with mushrooms, I got a game for you.
Mario. Oh, what?
No, well, that too, but Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate
Baldur's
3,
Gate's
yeah.
got some serious mushroom lore.
I pick up a lot of mushrooms because I assume I'm going to make potions and shit out of them. But
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, mushrooms are good.
yeah,
And
I'm
the game
getting
can
that-
be really brutally difficult, though. I got in a fight with what I thought was a boss. For all intents and purposes, was a boss, and then was like, "Oh, people are commenting on this hole. Maybe I should jump in the hole." So I activated Featherfall and I jumped in the hole, and I was like, "I just fought an insane boss. I just fought some really difficult to kill enemies around the boss. Just jump in this hole."
Yeah.
And I landed. I was like, surely they're not going to throw something crazy at me. Hit the ground, 2 minotaurs. I was
Oh.
like, well, we're just having a time here. From crazy boss to minotaurs, this is just an adventure and a
Damn.
half.
Did you beat him or did you have to?
I did, but my
Wow.
goodness, like it was a adventure.
You can do so for some people that may be new to this and it's all a little overwhelming and it may seem difficult at first because it is very tactical and all of that. The 3 difficulty levels are totally swappable anytime. So if you're like, if the middle of the road one is just like too hard, flick over to the other one that just gives enemies less hit points and just makes it a little simpler.
D&D also notorious for being hard in the early stages and not as hard later.
Yeah.
Like when you're level 4 and you're fighting level 5s that have multi-attack, so you do one dinky attack and then their rangers are shooting 3 arrows at a time and you're like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
It's like
Ran into
you get
that.
to attack 3 times
Yeah.
and hit all 3 times. I attack once and miss. Super awesome game.
The game respects your time and will let you switch back and forth, and it's all in real time, so you don't have to reload or anything. So it's nice. Yeah, that's Baldur's Gate 3. The game's amazing. I'm sure we'll be talking about it more as the weeks go on, as we get further in.
You guys listening better get used to it.
Yeah, it's a really good
Starfield,
game.
I guess. Yeah.
It's a really good game. I mean, unfortunately, the entirety of the games covering content making industry is all talking about this, so you might all be just sick to death of it in a couple of weeks. But
It's full of spoilers. I don't even want to look things up. It's like, here's how to get this item. Here's how to get that item. Here's what's going on here. And I'm like, dude,
yeah, there's a lot of that.
I'm like, I wish I didn't have to look at these.
There's like 12 guides on how to romance who and when and what, and
Yeah.
you can go do all that, I guess, if you want. But I'm having fun just wandering around and then go, oh, this, oh, that, oh, wow. What's
You only
this
get
place?
to play it for the first time once. Once
Yeah.
you finish it and you're still interested in the game, then learn all the ins and outs, right? Yeah,
Yep.
like that's fun too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
I was watching, like, it's just so deep. I was watching Garrett and Kyle play some, and they were like well before where I was, so I felt confident watching it. I looked away for a little while, came back, and they were in a place I'd never seen.
Yeah.
And like I was like, what the hell is going on? Like they were doing something I had never seen before, and I was like, they were in an area I felt I had fully explored.
Yeah,
So
They were suffering from Final Fantasy 14 brain because it felt to me like, because I watched them too, their stream this week.
Yeah.
I was at work and I'm like, oh, they're streaming. I want to check it out. And it was like, it's stuff I felt confident because I'm like, oh, it's stuff I've already done, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And like, they're just like, go straight to Goblin. I got Goblin Quest, go straight. They didn't even talk to the druids, I don't think. They just went straight to Goblin Quest camp.
Yep.
And they just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, dude, you guys are missing so much. Like,
well,
on
it
the
wasn't
way there.
even that. It wasn't that they had gotten farther than me. Like they found something in one of the places that I thought I had fully explored. Like I was watching them explore that goblin town. Not the camp, but the town that the goblins took over. where
Right.
the
The
ogres
whole
we were
fort
talking
or
about
whatever.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden they're like interacting with a magic mirror and shit. And I was like, where was this? Like I didn't
Oh,
encounter any of this business.
I did find that. But what's funny is,
So it's-
what's funny about that, John, is they encountered something you didn't and found a basement. And what's funny about that is that it goes deeper, and they missed
missed the
a
door,
huge
yeah.
area
Or the
that goes
cave hole.
farther down because they moved on. So you're like, whoa, there's more down there, and I'm like, guys, there's like 3 more like square hectares of material. What are you moving on for? But
Yeah.
anyway.
Was that
I
the
do
spider
think it's
cave?
okay to pull back though, because I will tell you this game will suddenly ramp up in a way where I was just wandering, and like next thing I knew, I was in a fight I clearly should not have been
Right.
in.
That happens all
I
the
got
time.
myself into some trouble with a lady who had magical powers.
Oh.
And she
Oh, is that south of the town?
she did not treat me kindly. I was so confident. I was like, I'm destroying everything I come across. This will be fine. This will be no big deal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was really humbled, and I was like, maybe we should continue the goblin side of the story and let this place sit for a little while longer.
I have 2 other questions for it. Well, one comment, one question, and one is I've met. If you don't mind the minor spoiler of a monster type, you tell me no if you want to hear about it.
Sure.
But in phase spiders are in this game.
Phase spiders are
Teleporting-
dicks. Not what I'm
teleporting
talking
spiders.
about, but they're real tough. Yeah.
Just letting you know, okay, there are phase spiders that teleport. I hate spiders, and I hate teleporting magical ones even more.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, phase spiders are a thing. But also, I wanted to know if either of you have met a Catobal Prey style character at any point yet.
Not yet.
Made
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Have you,
Well, I'm.
John? You did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
Hmm.
from the trailer. Like, made you a deal. Too good.
Yeah.
to
Named
refuse?
after a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're-
I'm sorry. I did. You talking about? Okay, let's say. Can I say this won't be a spoiler? It was dinner
No,
time.
we pretty much said it when John said.
Yeah, but it's like
But you
where
met
the
him.
place you went is like dinner time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. I did all
Okay, I
that.
was wondering because it happened in such a random spot. I wasn't sure if I triggered it event style by going to a location or if it just happens.
No, it's time.
It's
Because
a-
it's
time?
happened to me twice, and it's happened in different spots both times.
Oh, good. Okay, so that's what I wasn't sure if. Oh, should I tell people? Like, it's like Withers. Like, should I tell people to go to? I was in a really weird area that I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here. There's just like fish around here, and it happened. And I'm like, people aren't gonna know about this if it triggers in the fish area, but it's a timed thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's time, but I'll tell you the 2 times I've encountered the character on my 2 different playthroughs, it was in different spots.
Really?
And there
So-
wasn't at a high point above the Nautiloid ship overlooking. the
No.
Nautiloid.
For me,
no.
Yeah,
Mine
where
was
there's just barrels of fish and lookout gear.
for
Okay,
me,
great.
it was crossing a bridge. I just started to cross a bridge, kind of in a random place, and I thought, oh, I've triggered something, and I figured that's where it would always happen. But John sounds like it's not. based
No,
on
it
your experience.
happened inside the Goblin Town one time for me, and it happened up on a hill another time.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to see that guy for a good long while. It was a great teaser. I'm
Mm,
like, yeah, sure, go have some fun. He's
yeah.
gonna come back and mess. I don't know where this game's going. I don't want to have expectations too high in terms of what Act 2 and 3 are gonna be, but Act 1 has been
It's pretty stellar.
it's been like just I'm telling you, it's amazing how far deep in the ground you can go, guys. Like,
You're gonna pop out on the other side eventually. That's how that'll go.
yeah.
You'd be in Asian D&D land. Let me ask you this about that character: if he ends up giving your warrior or giving your fighter or something called the Eye of Schmozeal, what will you do?
Oh,
Will you lose your shit? Will you be like,
so look, I've met Karlak now. I still haven't barely touched her story.
yeah.
But she is clearly the love child of Hope and Nash, like 100%. She has a can-do attitude, which I feel like Kristen embodied with her characters. Like, let's go! Like, just she drops f-bombs all the time. Out of all of us, Kristen was the one I think the most to drop well-timed f-bombs, to be like f yeah and all this kind of stuff. She did that. Can-do attitude. A barbarian, but hers was a champion fighter. Same kind of disposition about rough and tumble and just getting in there and fighting it up.
Yeah.
Obviously tiefling. And then she has your infernal heart. Like, in my mind, this is your heart that Zariel has gotten off Asmodeus somehow and given to Karlak for some reason or another. I feel like, although they're making it sound like infernal machines are like this commonplace thing, so we'll see where it goes. But
Yeah.
because what else happens is if it gets too hot, she gets set on fire.
Yeah.
And that's Scott, your character literally exploded several times through our campaign.
Yeah.
And like, I've read some Planescape books. I don't remember coming across much of this stuff in the second edition books. I feel like somebody listened to TWBD and liked our campaign and got an idea for a character. You know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I just want to know for sure.
Just want to know. Yeah.
I just want to know for sure.
Yeah.
I want to know so badly. Like, maybe I just sue to get the documents and then pull the case. You know what I mean? Just so I can find out in Discovery what
Yeah.
where the just because I want to know.
I know. I do
It'd
too.
just be nice. And people are not shy about telling me they like our show, but I got to tell you, it wasn't a huge financial hit. We're not all playing D&D right now and making money, and
Right.
I just want to. It's nice to. I live on the fumes of people saying they liked our campaign and they liked your characters and they liked the DMing that I did. It means a tremendous amount to me. So if there are people at Larian who listened and got some inspiration, I just want to know, man. It'd be like,
he needs new fumes to groove.
it'd be a
on.
good soul coin for my soul.
Some
So
hot new fumes just to keep you running.
and like it's anyways, I just feel like I still am like 5% expecting some weird alternate Nash to show up as an inside joke somewhere.
I would love that. That'd be amazing.
Like, even if they don't call you Nash, there's just a face in a wall that goes, the time barf.
Time
You're like,
barf.
what? Yeah, never mind.
What's your
Get
name?
the hell out of here.
My name's Gash. Gash Flagard. What's up?
No, you don't even want to know my name.
I don't even know if I have
I don't
a
even know
name.
if I've got a real name. And then he'll kill everyone with
That's
Thunderwave.
how we'll know for sure.
By the way,
But
is it Thunderwave? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gale uses Thunderwave a lot.
known as the Scott special.
Holy shit, that's an effective spell in this video game. It's really good.
I mean, it was an effective spell in our game. You took out Kyle in one fell swoop.
I mean, I'm glad you've gotten over your fear of using it. You
Oh
did get
no,
rid of
here
it
it's no
out of
problem.
guilt.
And
Yeah.
I know it's a Larian game, so I got to look for I hope there's no barrels of oil and a candle gonna knock over when I do this, or whole-
You know what? I had a really anticlimactic moment in this game because I'm so used to everything blowing up. I used a series of items that I thought were explosive but weren't.
Yeah.
And I was it was shocking because I was like, wait, I'm playing a Larian game. Why aren't things exploding?
Sure.
It's like that movie Game Night where people keep getting slammed on tables and the tables don't break, and every time it doesn't break, someone goes, why are tables being so weird? Like, it's the same thing. Like, I threw a pot of grease on people and there was a candle nearby, and I thought maybe that would be enough. that didn't work. I was like, okay, well that makes sense. And then I had like this smoke powder bomb, and I just saw the word bomb, and I was like, well, surely this will blow it up. I threw that, and that just sits on the ground and doesn't do anything. And I was like, all right, well, I'll shoot it with an Eldritch Blast. So I shot it with an Eldritch Blast, and it just popped open, and powder went all over the ground. And so now there's just a pile of grease and a pile of powder, and all these bad guys standing in it. And I was like, nothing's lighting on fire anymore. What's going on
You
with
need
this
someone
world?
to
I don't
throw,
understand.
have Gale throw a firebolt in there and probably catch that all on fire. That's probably
My
all
first
combustible.
playthrough, everybody had Firebolt. My second playthrough, nobody has Firebolt, and it's really throwing me that I can't light things on fire.
Like Gale doesn't
anymore.
have that cantrip.
Gale's not in my party. I kicked him out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if he's not partying with you, I guess he's back at the place going, "Oh, I'm so good looking. Let me look at my mirror image for 3 hours." That guy. Anyway, well, there.
I wanted to know one thing from you guys as well before we wrap up, because I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
Is just who your party members, like who's your favorite configuration?
Right now,
I meant that's that early on, but the conversation got away.
I don't
from
have a
us.
favorite yet because I don't have a lot of alternates yet.
Oh.
In fact, I don't have.
So who
any.
you're running with? just
So
out
I'm
of
running with
curiosity.
me, Shadowheart, and me being Will. Shadowheart, weird snake nose lady, Lazriel. What's her name?
Lizelle.
And Gale. And is that it?
Well, yeah, that's 4. I just want
Yeah,
Will.
that's it.
You're Will
I
in the
like that
group.
Yeah.
Scott cannot see past the nose. Did you have a conversation with her about her nose?
No, oh no, you know what I did early on? Yeah, because it says, "Why is your nose so alien?" or some question like that.
Yeah, she makes fun of your nose.
Yeah.
Before you even have a chance to say anything about her, she makes fun of yours.
She looks like she's a big snake latched onto her face and left nothing but 2 holes. It's horrible. She's a weirdo. I don't like her. Not a fan. She can
best.
She can cling on her way through life. It's great.
You're speaking to 2 of Lazelle's sex servants over here.
Yeah.
we both have Stockholm syndrome.
I don't know. Maybe she'll grow on me.
My wife walked into the room right when Lazelle was like, "It's time," and I was like, "Honey, you're here at the perfect opportunity.
Perfect moment.
We're gonna bone." And she went, "Really?" And like she pulled up a chair and was like, "I want to see." She was all into it.
Can
so-
I-
do a lot of work.
Can Withers be romanced or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, Scott, pursue the Withers romance.
I'm just saying. You know.
I just want. Do you even know what? I don't think you know what he looks like.
I have
yet,
no
so
idea. I have
say
zero
go for
idea.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna have a
yeah.
laugh when you see him. That's for sure.
Yeah, go for the Withers romance, man.
Yeah, do
You
it.
see how it
Yes,
works.
Withers is romanceable. You
Probably
go
have
for
to
it.
pay him, but you know.
Because I
it'll be
picture
fun.
some wizened old man. I'm guessing I'm totally off. It's not that, is it? It's
No,
like a
he's
gelatinous
basically-
cube or
you
something.
see.
Yeah,
You'll
You're in the
see.
ballpark. You're in the ballpark.
All right.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go. I'm finding him after this show because now I know where to go.
John, what's your party?
My party right now is not ideal. It's very bruiser heavy, but I have myself, Stanley Billings as a bard. I have Lazelle as a champion fighter. I have Karlach as a wild magic barbarian. I have and I have Will as a warlock, and
Okay.
it's functional. The 2 fighters melees are
Will's pretty
carrying
strong.
the group right now.
Warlocks are pretty strong. The Eldritch Blasts are crazy with Hex.
Yeah, they're not bad.
I do feel a little melee heavy because every time I get in a fight where I can't get to somebody right away, I'm like,
Bring shit or
Oh,
turn someone into a
boy.
cleric. Clerics are clerics are boring, but they're
No,
strong
they
as
are
shit.
not. They're
I
awesome.
love clerics. I wanted to
strong.
play a cleric so
I'm not-
bad, my
I'm not-
DM talked me out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
My DM was like, "Don't play cleric, you'll hate it."
Take Shadowheart with you. She does all that.
I was in part of my prep. I was too lazy to come up with my own pantheon, so I just said it was godless. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
Water under the bridge. Next time you can play cleric.
Yeah. Play cleric.
I'll
next
have a
time.
pantheon. Yeah, I'm playing. Same here. I'm Karlach Lazelle. But a pro tip for people: if you want a tank, respec Lazelle. Keep her a fighter, but you can change the specialization, not the subclass. She has 2-handed great weapon fighting, which turns 1s into 2s. If you go shield specialization, anyone standing within 1.5 meters, she can force disadvantage on.
Oh wow.
which
Oh,
is huge.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So, and if you're playing with
humongous.
Karlach is always standing next to her. They're peas in a pod.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hits that turn into misses because of shield specialization. It's huge. And then I take Battle Master because there's some good moves in there that also complement a more tank, like an actual tank.
Oh.
Not just a fighter that takes damage, but they have tools to protect people around them.
I'm gonna do
So,
that.
pro tip on the Lizelle Battle Master. I'm playing Karlach as just a whatever gets you better throw. It's hard to stay away from enhanced
Just keep
throw.
throwing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Throwing
throwing treasure
stuff.
chests at I keep like the biggest, heaviest treasure chests in my inventory, and I'm throwing treasure chests at people. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
You're like borderline over encumbered every minute, but that doesn't matter because you're gonna
She's-
throw those.
She's
those
OP.
again.
Like once you get her in your party, you realize what a strong character feels like. Like in that one fight, everyone died except her. She kept going and going and going, chucking people off things and running around. She's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I play
Karlach
with
is probably my favorite character. She's so.
Where did
good.
you run into her? Or don't spoil it if it's weird.
You'll find it. I would say to give you a general area, look around the hyenas.
Okay. Oh, really?
Around the hyenas to the east.
I'm right up near there. So
And she's not. She's
Well, I
a little
was.
nooked away. So look in the little nooks and crannies.
Okay.
Explore the map fully.
I was there, but I
Um,
went to get Rogue Boy. So
I'm just worried you missed Asterion. You for sure gonna miss Karlach. So
It's
you know,
so
look,
dumb.
just look
I just-
around.
I
Look
just didn't
around.
want to go through that ship and fight more brains, and now I feel bad. And now
Like,
you know
if
what?
there-
I ran through there while we were talking. No other brains
There's
in there.
no more brains. There's
Yeah.
one brain fight.
I hated that brain fight.
So
dude.
listen, I know people
Ain't like
don't
when I
like.
didn't like it.
Level 1 crap. Yeah.
I know people don't like spoilers, but I think it because the game doesn't really hold your hand at all. I think it's totally on side to go spoil yourself and look up where Withers is.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't, if you're just bad at these kinds of things, go find wizards. Go
Scott.
find Withers, and go find all the NPCs. Like, go be okay with like, where do I get the NPCs?
Yeah.
You deserve to enjoy the fullness of the game. Just because you turned right when you should have turned left, I think is a sucky reason not to get that. And then everything else, don't look up. But
Yeah,
I'd
everything
say
else
that
is
stuff's-
yeah. But I would even argue, well, I don't know. There's something fun about discovering that I missed a guy entirely. I kind of like it because now I
Yeah,
gotta go get him again.
I just feel bad because they're so good. Like if they were kind of mid or crummy, okay.
yeah, but I'll still
like-
get that experience because this game is you played 77 hours. You're still in Act 1. You're in the basement
Yeah,
of the
I know.
world.
I know. I think the NPCs, they're all just very wonderful. I wouldn't begrudge anyone looking up where they are.
No.
But yeah, Karlach, what were we saying? Oh yeah, so I'm running that in Shadowheart, and I've kept her mostly intact as what she is. Spell selection being pretty critical for her. And I, like you, I'm a bard. I'm just a dragonborn bard instead of an elf bard.
Bard is like here's final tip: play as Bard. Bard is the best class in D&D.
Mm,
Like you're not ever gonna feel like you're the coolest. Like oh look at the way I ran in and friggin' trucked all the bad guys, but you're good at rogue stuff. You're good at casting stuff.
good at buffing.
You
Yeah.
can shoot two little crossbows and do some ranged business. You can get in with some swords and stabby stab. You are good at everything and you can talk your way out of everything else. Like it is
Yeah.
genuinely the best class in the game.
Mm.
If you like having the last word, the best last word, I think bards. Like I think all the charisma classes probably have good options. As a warlock, you might too as well, Scott.
Yeah, he's not bad.
But there are some bard ones where like it's just like if you're a bard, you get this dialogue option. You just sing your way out of problems. It's like there's one guy's like, "How are you going to pay me? I don't need money. I need something, important." And it's like, "You want this piece of paper? I have a magic item." The other one's provide them the most beautiful song they've never heard, and you do that one, and it's the best option. That kind of thing.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's Baldur's Gate 3. The biggest the biggest review sort of discussion we've had on this show. Period. We've never talked about a game this long. So I'm sorry, Diablo 4.
We've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah,
of
we've
it.
barely touched it, but I think that says a lot about this game, and it was worth waiting for, even though it was delayed. What, almost 3 years? It's been delayed. But now I get why. The thing is a beast.
I think the pandemic definitely took its toll on this
Yeah.
timeline.
I mean, the
They
original
didn't-
release was supposed to be 2020, right? And I think they just got wrecked by
Yeah.
that. It's just like,
I think they didn't rush it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies put out products. They're like, no, let's just ship it.
Yeah.
They didn't. They could afford not to. So that's
No,
great.
I love it. Hope they stay independent. They made some comment in an interview they would like to do that and stay. They have no interest of selling off. They don't want to be conglomerized. They want to.
It just makes me sad. If it's 6 years, it means it's going to be 2029 when their next game comes out.
Yep, 2029, Original Sin 3, which they did say they want to make. So, they'll
I
get
hope
back.
it comes out faster than that.
They'll get back to their IP. Well, the way this thing's going, we'll still be playing this by then. It's so freaking huge.
Yeah, maybe.
So who knows? All right, let's move on. I, as a result, I had actually a lot of stuff going on, so I had less time for even just gaming in general this last week. So any time I did have was dedicated to Baldur's Gate. But I did install and play very early bits of a game called I Am Future. That sounds like a dumb name, but it's actually pretty great. It's a survival game where the world has ended. You come out of a pod and you're up above the water in some old buildings that are not covered in water. And you survived somehow. And your job is to go collect a bunch of crap that are laying around this place that you're finding yourself in and start to rebuild your world. And the thing is, there aren't other people, at least that I know of, in the game, maybe even ever. The goal is just to make a better survival place. So you're gathering metal and wood and building, different items and automating some things. And there's some robot technology stuff going on. It is a cozy survival game. There's a hunger meter. There's a health meter. When you sleep, the health meter is replenished. And when you eat, your hunger meter obviously goes up. It's not super complex. We're not talking about Valheim here, like at all. It's a much more lighthearted affair. I do like the overall vibe of this dude's alone, and this is a wrecked world, and he's got to make the most of what he's got. He's got a robot hand, and you can attach a saw to that hand, so that's pretty cool. And you can cut through metal and stuff and cut wood. Anyway, and you open up new areas. There's some fishing. I think there's some crop stuff because I got some seeds, but I'm just not that far yet. But it's called I Am Future. It is in early access on Steam. And so far, just a delightful looking, cool one of these. As far as I've been able to get into it, yeah, it seems neat. I really like the art style in particular. It's very colorful, but also, oh gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. What do I compare it to? I mean, it's kind of the perspective's kind of Simsy, like 3/4 view, top down, zoom in, zoom out, that kind of stuff. It's all 3D. And it's just really straightforward. Like there aren't things attacking you constantly. It isn't one of those. This isn't Banished. All right. As an example.
Yeah, nothing attacks you in Banished either.
Is that true? Just dysentery.
Yeah, there's no violence in that game. But I know what you're saying.
Just diarrhea.
It looks like The Sims.
Yeah. A little bit.
It's just diarrhea or diphtheria. Is that diarrhea?
Diphtheria? I don't know what that is. Is that
Diphtheria
a different thing?
And yellow fever and measles.
Yeah. But for a while, you got to eat bushes because there's no good food around. Then you find some blueberries. I think right now I've got carrots to seed. I have seeds for carrots. So I got to figure out a way to get into the farming stuff. But like I say, very early. It seems really cool so far. Been watching this one for a while. When it finally came out, I was like, yep, I'm going to grab this. And it's really cool. I Am Future. It might actually not be technically out until later next week. I forget. It might be on Steam now. I'm not sure. The other one I got was one I think we were all interested in when we saw it. I only installed it, so nothing to say about it except I'm excited about this game.
I know what this is.
Remember Viewfinder? This is that weird first-person puzzler thing where you find old photos and then you can place them in the world.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And it really impressed everybody when we saw it in like games, whatever it was, one of the games things, Game Awards or something when we first saw it. It's crazy from what I've seen, but I have only installed it and run it to make sure it ran and did all my settings, and then I didn't have time. So I'm going to play this week, and I'll talk more about it next week.
It actually looks pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like
it's crazy.
I would, you know what? Yeah. I feel it's good that we support these games early, but this looks like VR.
Oh my gosh, dude. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
They
should do that. They should absolutely do that. There's some wild stuff going on in it that I can tell. I mean, I'm looking at this video and it's just like, what? Oh my gosh. Like I may I may lose my mind playing this because it looks like it might be hard, but good reviews. People like it so far. The only thing I've heard negative was that there's these British people that kind of narrate the whole time, or not the whole time, but are always talking in your ear, and I guess they're kind of annoying. Oh, what the heck? There's Tetris pieces in this? Sorry, you just saw something in the video. Anyway, Viewfinder. I'll play more, and we'll talk next week. That is currently available on everything: Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Finally, the second chapter of The Expanse dropped. The Expanse Telltale game. I haven't played it yet, but it dropped, and I can't wait. It's installed and ready to rock, so I'll play that sometime this week as well. I really like that first one, so I'm excited about this. And apparently it's got a really hard choice in it that everyone's talking about. Not spoiling, but it's like a rough one.
Sounds like a Telltale game.
Yeah, sounds like The Expanse, too. Whoa. What is
What
that?
the heck is that?
Was that you, Bo?
Yeah, it was me. Sorry.
What the heck? What was that?
I got ADHD distracted. Sorry. There's a soundboard in Discord. I was like, what? There's a soundboard? And then I clicked one, and I forgot clicking it would have meant that you guys hear
You
it.
would
Sorry
play
about
it.
that.
Yeah, no, it's how that works. That's funny.
I didn't
Anyway,
even know Discord had a soundboard like that.
it's all good. I played, so that's what I played. Mostly Battle. I did it again. Baldur's Gate 3. Installed I Am Future. Got a little bit of that done. Viewfinder and The Expanse Episode 2. John, let's get a Frog Wrestling free per view 2 update. So big week, right? Big stuff.
Yesterday was the big event, our second free preview, all the titles on the line. Scott,
Yeah. Am I dethroned finally?
You're still Frog Pants champion.
Holy shit, really?
Yep.
I don't even know what to make
Somebody's
of
got
that.
to cut Scott down a notch. Who will be the chosen one?
Everybody's trying. I tried to take him down, didn't work. Garrett tried to take him down. Randy tried to take him down. Everybody who has stepped up to Scott.
you know who we have
Nash
to call.
Magard tried to fight him.
You know who we have to call in to do this, right?
Who?
You know who it is.
Who?
It's family. It's like Fast and Furious. It's family. It's your
gotta-
brother.
Oh, we gotta bring in his brother.
My
gotta bring
Korean
in-
brother? Oh my gosh, dude. Call him
Yeah,
the
that's-
kid, the
that'd
great
be
kimchi
kinda-
or something.
That's who we got to. That's who's gonna bring balance to the frog.
So wait a minute. Let me understand this. You're not going to have to end up tweaking some stats or some ability stats or anything, right? Like,
I don't think so. If you're the champion for too long and it becomes obnoxious, maybe we fudge it, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You are based on, so originally you weren't. Originally you just had high stats. But I did want you to be a boss character. I did want you to be hard to beat. So I did just give you the stats and moves of Roman Reigns, who in this game is like a power level 99.
sweet.
Which is the highest that is in there.
Yep.
Now, power level doesn't mean you're going to win. You can have a lower power level and win like crazy. You can have a higher power level and just never win a match, but it does help. And you having the highest stats possible is going to, in general, favor you at a pure numbers level. But I mean, Kyle fought you at this level, but it was a non-title match and he beat you.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not like it can't be done. It just hasn't happened in any official capacity just yet.
Yeah.
And
You need someone with someone with the matching power
so
to take him.
Yeah.
A
We're-
new era.
you're still up there. Now Garrett and Kyle did. Garrett did not succeed in taking your title. Kyle managed to hold on to the Dragon Beef Championship. Kim unfortunately did not dethrone Kristen. Kristen is still the women's title holder.
Yeah.
But Garrett and Kyle did end up losing their tag titles to Randy and Patrick.
Oh my lord.
So we got a Randy Jordan Patrick Beja team that are now our new TMS tag champions.
Whoa, when did Joss join the roster? Did I miss this?
This was Jocelyn's debut. She joined as of this event.
That's
Got
great.
her in there.
That's great. Love it. Oh my gosh, and you have those blow up car dealership balloon things.
Yeah.
This game's nuts. Like, what are they even doing over there at 2K?
She wanted a lot of glitter, a lot of positivity, so we gave her Bailey's old entrance when Bailey was just all about good vibes, and gave her all the glitter, and that's what we got with Joss. So
should have given her a unicorn horn or something.
it's in the game. I just didn't think it looked very good, but I did consider it. There is a unicorn horn in the game.
She loves them
So,
unicorns.
Could have been done. Didn't pull the trigger on it, but it was a fun event, really good event. I heard, just to humble brag for a moment, I heard that when it went live, it was not that this is a crazy competitive scene, but it was the #1 stream for WWE 2K.
Nice.
That night.
Well done,
So,
dude.
Again, it's not like it's the heaviest competition category in the whole world, but it did get a lot of eyeballs on it. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and
Number one is number one, man.
Yeah.
all the matches were insane, so that's always good. The biggest squash of the night was you and Garrett, but even Garrett put up a decent fight. He stole your finisher, which was really good.
Weird.
He stole the TMS, which I'm still not 100% sure what it stands for. It's a spear, so it either stands for the Morning Spear or the Mighty Spear, but we just call it the TMS.
Oh wow, that's perfect.
That's how you beat people.
Yeah.
And Garrett did it to you, but you kicked out, and hung in there. So
That's great. Love it.
What about Tiger Machete Slice?
it could be. What in a world where it could be anything, it could certainly be that.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Okay,
Well, that's great. I heard real good things about the stream this week. Wednesdays I'm always swamped, so I couldn't be there again, but not live anyway. But I always like checking these VODs out. This looks awesome. Oh my gosh, Carter. How's Carter doing? She doing all right?
She's doing good. She was the first one eliminated on this. She was eliminated by Monica, and Monica cheated to eliminate her. She put her feet up on the ropes for the pin, which is an illegal move.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
And she did that to eliminate her. So we might have a Monica Carter grudge match next week. Carter not gonna just let that stand, that she got eliminated in such an unfair fashion.
I love how the ref is somehow supposed to watch 3 different pairs fighting.
Yeah, the poor ref really couldn't get it. And he had to keep going from both sides because someone would pin over here and then someone would pin on the other side, and he'd have to sprint over there to try and count over there. It's just chaos. It's just absolute chaos.
It is. I love when they use props like the big old ladder, but they really don't use it. They just shove it in there and then they kick it around a little, but nobody really uses the ladder for anything. Cracks me up. These robots, man. Good stuff as always. Loving it. Can't wait to hear more. Keep your eyes on the Craftless Rogue, both live stream on Twitch and the archives on YouTube. Also, Craftless Rogue on YouTube.
I also played Transformers War for Cybertron.
Gosh dang it! You already had this? That's why you played
I already had it, so I installed it and I played it. And you know what? It's a really good game.
It
They
is.
don't make games like that anymore. And what a fun game that is. Just you get in, you're immediately playing as Megatron, you're immediately running around, bossing people around, shooting a big gun, turning into a tank, and you just run down hallways and you blow up robots and you sound cool, and then you finish a level, and then you know what you do? You play as Starscream.
Yep.
And then you just run around and you blow more things up and you turn into a jet, and they tell you not to go places, but you go there anyway because you're Starscream, and nobody's going to tell you what to do, even when it's not a great idea. And it's just a cool freaking game. And the only thing I kept wishing as I played this game was that they would make a new one of these, or just remaster properly and bring these back out, because these games are so flipping cool. They deserve to be played, and they deserve to still be relevant. So I'm with Hasbro. Find the hard drive, put these games out. These games are freaking rad. I loved my time in this. I'm actually going to keep playing it because I had so much fun.
Somebody in the community sent me an email and said you can still buy these for $45 or something for a Steam key on Amazon, and they work. So you can buy Steam keys at certain sources. I don't know about others in Amazon, but Amazon's definitely one of them. and I was so tempted to do it. Now you're just gonna make me do this, aren't you? I'm just gonna do
45 seems a bit steep. For
It seems
the
like a
game
lot.
age.
Yeah, for a 360 era game, but still.
Yeah, you might try G2A. Normally, I wouldn't recommend a site like that because
Yeah.
sometimes they're stolen. But
But if
for-
they're not gonna put the game out,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I
exactly
mean,
right.
it's either do that or sail the high seas, and that's which is less ethical. So
Crap. I want to play it. Looking at it makes me want
it's
to play
so
it.
fun. Look at that. Look at Starscream hovering, then he goes into a super jet mode and flies around, and
Yeah,
you just press a button and you transform. It's so good.
I'm doing it.
yeah, I like the no bullshit. You can transform
Yeah.
business that these particular games do. It's just. I think the sequel to this does it even better, where you kind of charge into your moves a bit more. But both are great. You just transform quickly, smoothly, seamlessly.
Yeah, it's
And
awesome.
they do the thing. It is in the Michael Bay movies. I said it on stream. I'll say it here too. Like, just because I don't think those movies are generally pretty good, except Bumblebee, like, doesn't mean that there weren't cool things in there. And they do the thing where if you're jetting around as Starscream and you transform, he falls to the ground but still has momentum. So he does that thing where he hits the ground as a robot and then
And slides. Yeah,
And it's
that is
so cool. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is badass.
Yeah. Gosh dang it. Look, and you know what's funny? I went to G2A just to see what these are selling for. $322.90 for a code.
Oh
Shit.
my god.
So apparently these codes are hard to get. I think maybe I do want the Amazon one.
We should stop talking about this game. We're driving up the price just by hustling it.
every time Core talks about the Transformer games nobody can buy, more people have to buy it.
Yeah.
We're creating demand by hyping it up.
You're not wrong.
But it's so good. Like and that was the other thing when I put it on my list. I was like, I feel a little bad hyping up a video game that people can't go and buy.
Yeah.
But if maybe you're like me, maybe you bought it on sale at some point and it's sitting on your hard drive. And if it is, you should play this game. It's not revolutionary. But it is it's just perfect at what it is. It's just an action game. It's just a run and gun and transform and do cool things action game. And it's really good at it.
Yeah, these so confirmed Amazon has them for $49. I might just do it. This
And
looks
now
like,
that you've seen that they can be $300.
yeah, no kidding, right? This seems cheap now. But look how why am I so excited about this shit?
Because giant robots that turn into vehicles is super cool.
Yeah, but should I just wait
Now
for
keep in mind, like, because I didn't end up playing it, but I did log in when we talked about it. I downloaded it. All the multiplayer stuff, including co-op, all offline.
Yeah, it's all off. I don't care though.
So
I just want to
yeah, I'm just saying it's it's
less of a value.
you're
I guess.
playing just for the campaign, and while I agree with everything John said, it is dated. It's not like this is like Red Dead Redemption 1, charging Red Dead Redemption 1 for $50.
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that little nugget later on. All right. Ori and the Blind Forest. Let's finish it out with that. That's a great game. I love that game.
Yeah, I'll just mention it. I was looking for something to do with my son. He was just kind of all he really wanted to watch was actual fire trucks with their sirens on driving on TV, and I can only take so much of that in a day. So I was like, hey buddy, let's learn about video games. So I turned on the Xbox and I needed something to play where he could just like, because his hands don't even reach around the controller. Like he can't, even if he knew what he was doing, he couldn't do it. His
Right.
hands are just too small.
Yeah.
So I just needed something where he could push buttons and there would be an interaction. And so I just put Ori and the Blind Forest on because it happened to be installed. And he sat there and he made the characters run left and run right and jump. And he got really excited about it and had a good time with it. And then I started playing a little bit of it. And that game is really good.
Yeah. Love it.
If people talked about Ori and the Blind Forest the way people talked about Hollow Knight, I would understand it. I wouldn't be confused like I am with Hollow Knight. I would go, oh, that makes sense. And granted, I haven't played a lot of it. Everybody says Hollow Knight gets really crazy and good, but and I barely scratched the surface of Ori and the Blind Forest. But like, I was immediately like, this game's beautiful. This game has an incredible soundtrack. It plays well enough. I will concede, I think Hollow Knight controls a little better. It's a little floaty and weird with Ori. Like the very first hold A to make this jump is like actually kind of hard to make that jump, and that's weird.
Yeah.
But like this game is just impressive as hell looking and just really gorgeous on every front. And I had a good time with the little bit of time I spent on it, and my son enjoyed it, and I didn't have to listen to fire trucks for a little while.
That's good.
So
Nobody
that's
wants
always
that.
something.
All right, we are going to take a break. Now, you might say to yourselves, oh, geez, we still have Martha and everything. No, we did it early. So we're going to go straight to these little news bits after the break, and then we're going to do a voicemail, which we have to play today. It's real good. And then we'll zero things out and say, hey, we're good. We did a show. So come back, everybody, after this little break. We're all going to go pee and get drinks and that sort of thing. You should do the same. And we'll see you in a minute. All right.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'm going to pause. All right, I'm going to hit resume here. Let's see. Okay, we're back, everybody. Welcome back from the break. Thank you for your patience. We're going to dive directly and immediately into some additional news items. If I could just find the damn button to push. Red Dead Redemption is back. The first one, the one everybody wanted a PC version of all those years ago. The OG, well, not the OG, that was Revolver, but Red Dead Redemption's an amazing game, and there is no 2 without it. So get stoked, sort of. It's $50 and it's coming to the Switch. So there's that.
And they
the
did nothing.
PS4.
And
the
PS4.
PS4.
Oh, and PS4
Like,
of all things.
yeah,
PlayStation
it's
4.
coming to none of the consoles you wanted it on, with none of the bells and whistles you expected, for $50.
And not even a piece-
Congratulations, gamers. We did it.
And not even a PC version mentioned. The thing people begged for all those years ago, and we're still not getting it, which really sucks. Really sucks.
It's like better than nothing,
But
it ain't much better than nothing.
No, I would rather them say, here's a 60 frame per second version of 2 on the PS5 and Series X finally, because they still haven't upped that frame rate, and there's no reason not to. They just haven't. They should do it for free. But anyway, it's all lame, and I don't love it. 10th anniversary of Papers, Please happened, and it got a demake and a Game & Watch version too. I love this.
You got to see this.
Lucas Pope is one of my favorite devs ever. I love this guy. One of my favorite indie devs. And I can't believe he made this. Like, what's he even doing? It's also 80% off on all platforms. So if you want a 10-year-old game that is still great, still amazing, perfect for a meeting you're in, like a long phone like Zoom meeting. Oh man, Papers, Please. That'll get you. Although you may screw up some stuff in there because you're not paying attention fully. But
That's
anyway,
okay.
It's great. Is there video of this Game & Watch version? Let's see.
No, I think it's still in development. I wasn't 100% clear if it's in the game, but it looks like it's a real device. I'm not.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's just a render or what that is. The videos of
I'm
the game.
scrolling through here.
No, you can play it. You go to a website.
Oh, is it it's a web player?
It's like in a browser.
Oh, where's the link to it?
Okay, demake. Run game. Here we go. Let's get some sound out of it.
Oh my god.
This is great. Lucas, approve. Oh, there's approve and deny. Oh, this is too good.
Next.
This is too good.
My name is Stefan. I'm from... I missed it.
Next.
Oh, no, this is deny.
From Kalinchika.
This person's denied. Bye.
This is too funny that this is even a thing. I'm going to just say approve. Oh, that's not her. That's a different guy.
This is all right. Well, you thought the Baldur's Gate thing went long. Now we're just gonna play this Game & Watch version of Papers, Please for the rest of it.
It's pretty clever. Like someone programmed this. You know what I mean? Like, why I could make a Game & Watch and go down. Like, it'd be hard, but like I could. It seems achievable, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like, oh my god, this is cool.
It's cool. I love it. It's a great way to celebrate this venerable indie title. So, congrats to him on the.
And it's called LCD, Please. Oh, that's even better.
Oh my lord, that's pretty great. All right, real quick, I wanted to mention this. It's not that big a deal, but Atlas Fallen was a game I was pretty excited about based on previews and stuff. It's out now, and some reviews are pretty positive about it, but overall, like on Steam, it's getting kind of ripped a new butthole. Bums me out because it looked like it was maybe going to be the Final Fantasy 16 combat with I don't know, maybe Elden Ring open worldness, the sort of thing, and instead it's not. It's neither of those things. IGN gave it a 7, not bad, but it sounds like it's kind of average. So just putting that out there. Atlas Fallen, maybe not the thing we were all hoping it would be. Quake 2 remaster in the works. They are going to do a single-player expansion and crossplay and more, as well as remaster the game. If you're a Quake 2 fan like me, you should be excited about this. And I am. I'm very excited. Not Quake. Did I say Quake? Yeah, Quake, not Doom. Quake 2.
Quake 2.
Yeah, I love Quake 2. I love Quake 1. I'd take a whole Quake, just a complete Quake reimagining, which maybe that's coming too. I don't know. But yeah, if you get your Quake on, everybody, it's coming. Quake 2. Another note here, all the PS5 controllers are down to $49, usually $75. They're on Amazon. I recommend grabbing them before they end the sale if you want an extra controller, because $75 is a lot.
Controllers are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, especially these. They got all the DualSense shit in them, and I get why they're more, for all the guts they have, but this would be the time to grab it because that's 35% off. And all the cool, well, not all, but many of the cool colors. The cool red one I have is on here. The there's one with like camo. That looks pretty cool if you're into camouflage. Camouflage, sabotage. Anyway, if you're a PS5 owner, you need an extra controller. Now's the time to spend that money. Stardew Valley's getting a cookbook. That's adorable.
Yeah, no images, but in 2024, pre-orders on Amazon. If you like Stardew Valley and like cookbooks, or know someone, someone who's not close enough to you that they wouldn't be disappointed by a cookbook.
Yeah, that's one way of
like
putting
a
it.
cousin or a sibling, but not like a loved one.
Sure.
And who also happens to like Stardew Valley. Like my brother got me the D&D cookbook. It was a great gift.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the
I'm sure this is going to be a nice one.
The Warcraft one's really cool too. Isn't there? There's a Final Fantasy one too, right, John?
There is. Final Fantasy 14 one's really good.
Yeah, I've heard
really,
good things about that.
Did they tell you how to make broiled chocobo?
They might. Although it's surprisingly
Chocobo
authentic.
dogs?
Yeah.
Chocobo.
Or hot chocobo?
Is it Chocobo or Chocobo? I need to know.
You can kind of say it however, but I would,
Okay.
if you don't want to look pretentious, I would say chocobo.
Okay.
It sounds like an instruction for someone to assault me.
Oh,
Chocobo.
Chocobo. Oh, I see what
Chocobo.
you've done. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would work. And finally, Valve is now selling refurbished Steam Decks for a lower price and same warranty. So I would have no problem with that if I was buying a
You
Steam
want
Deck.
a deck that's been touched, but
Yeah, it's fine.
still seems to work.
They clean them
As
up.
long as that used smell is on there.
What's the discount? Do we have that handy?
20% is what I saw,
It's not bad.
not what I confirmed. How do you get a refurbished one, though? I didn't actually look. Like, what button do you press?
I think it's on Steam and it's a separate listing. Or maybe it's on the main Steam Deck listing and then you choose refurbished or something. Let's see, Steam. Yeah,
See, I'll buy one
There's
now.
a certified refurbished button in Steam. They are
Right.
currently sold out on the 64 gig. That's 319 US. The 256 gigabyte is 419 US. They are in stock, and the 512 gigabyte is 519, also in stock
Certified
as of this
refurbished.
recording.
Yeah, and that's a big drop from $649 for the untouched ones. That's how you got to look at these. They're touched or not touched, I guess. Yeah.
I'm sure they sanitize them, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Usually from a reputable source anyway, refurbished are fine. Apple does really good refurbs. Google does that with their Pixel line. I think it's fine. If you're looking to save a little money, there's zero, and it's all warranted the same. So if you have any problems, you're good.
I wish handheld mattered to me more. They are cool.
This is weird. Your billing agreement with Meta has been canceled.
No, great.
This must be spam, right?
Do you have a subscription with them of any kind?
I definitely do not.
From your Quest?
Tell them not to write into Core anymore.
All right, I'll do it. I'm on it. That's a weird email to get. I think I'm getting scammed there. Okay, well, I won't answer it. let's do some correspondence.
That's a good question.
We got a voicemail today that I think is interesting, and Bo, I think it's kind of aimed. Well, no, it's aimed at everybody. The email's for you. The text is for you. This is for everybody. So, I'll let the caller explain, and then I got some follow up for it.
Okay, so I'm playing through Diablo 4, and I'm playing Barbarian in the new season. And every time he talks, I'm like, dude, this has got to be Metzen. And then after a while, I'm like, no, I think this might be Clancy Brown. I think that's his name. And then I go to look up the voice. Dude, it's neither one of them. It's some ding-dong named, what's his name? Here we are. Ray Chase. Weird. Totally sounds like Metzen, though. Love the guy. I love the show. Okay.
Love that
Oh
call.
my goodness. I love when
There's a lot to unpack in
calls Peter out at the end. Like
Yeah.
start so high energy and by the end are just like it has fallen
But
apart.
it's like his mouth tripped over a chair.
It's absolutely one of my favorite things that people do is when they just fall down on the exit. It's so good.
Well, I'm going to play some samples from the Barbarian, and we can see if he's up in the night or not about these
Okay,
sound like
let's
Metzen.
see.
So here you go.
This will be your last stupid mistake. I apologize. Aid would be welcome.
I can kind of hear it.
I can hear both. I can see why someone would think Metzen, and I can also see why somebody
Yeah.
would think Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Because you're not far off from the "Are you ready, kids?
Yeah.
I can't hear you." Like you can hear that turning into that,
Yeah.
and that was Clancy Brown. So
Yeah.
you know, it's right in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But your voicemail was awesome. Sorry, but what?
Yeah, I think it maybe a little harsh to
Yeah.
call. Is it Ray Charles?
Ray
Ray
Charles.
Chase.
Ray Chase, the
This
ding dong.
Oh, you were. Yeah, he called Ray Chase a ding dong, but yeah, I think he's
it
just.
was this ding dong name.
I think he's
I was
just
like,
being
well, I mean,
like,
come on.
hey, it's not who I thought it was, and you know.
I think he's a ding dong in the same way that Scott hates anybody that's in a Resident Evil game, even when they're like actively helping him. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Luis will be like, "Here, Leon, you're gonna die if you don't take this. I got this for you." And Scott's just like, "This asshole."
Because he
Oh wait,
sucks.
I sort of
Like,
the worst.
He just
I
doesn't
s-
like him.
He's just the
I
worst.
see a little bit why maybe they say ding dong, but I mean it in a nice way, just because he looks like, you know, he is a bit of a Dorcas Malorcas kind of style looking character, like not in a mean way. I posted a picture of what he
Oh,
looks
is this
like.
the guy? There.
Yeah,
Sam.
so you know,
Oh yeah, he is a
You know,
darkest Malorcas.
Clancy Brown looks like a badass in real life. Chris Metzen looks like a pirate. Like, you know, then you see this guy and you're like, no, he's your barbarian.
Yeah, he's your barbarian.
I'm sure, but I'm sure he's great. Still harsh, but like maybe I you know,
I mean, he's
He did
clearly.
a voice for Remnant too.
Yeah, he's a
Great.
good voice actor. There's nothing wrong with this
Got a
guy.
lot- got a
This
lot of
will
stuff.
be your
He's,
last stupid mistake.
See, that's what he would say to you.
he's Guile in Street
No,
Fighter
but like,
6.
Whoa.
like for comparison, like the barbarians, you know, I mean, they don't look like barbarians. That's okay. That's just kind of our bias when we watch things. Like when we watch Vikings, we expect everyone to look like Vikings, but voice actors don't have to look like anything. They can look really different than their characters, right?
Yeah.
But you know, these are the Sorcerer's voice actors. Sorcerer's kind of exudes cool, and these two headshots kind of got some cool dude vibes. I mean, you know, a little bit more than the.
Let's listen to
You know
Guile.
what I mean? I don't know.
No,
But
I feel you. How about let's listen to Guile talk for a sec. This same guy. This is from Street
No
Fighter.
holding back. This is a war, and I'm ready for you.
Yeah, that's Guile.
That's a great Guile voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got that like Captain America quality.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a good vibe. I think it's all right.
Oh.
Let's see what else he
Here's
says
Lilith.
here.
Oh, he was Nick Fury in Midnight Suns.
Oh, really? Ooh, he was good in
Yeah.
that. I like Nick Fury in that game. Got to get back to that too. Baldur's Gate. That's all I'm playing right now. All right, that's it for your voicemails. I do have a quick text here that came to 801-471-0462. It's the exact same number that the voicemail
10
came
hams,
to.
everyone.
Yep, 10 hams.
Oh
everybody.
my gosh, I'm sorry. I have to stop you. This
Go.
voice actor, now certified badass, I found the most important role that he has ever played.
All right.
He played Puri Puri Prisoner in One Punch Man. Amazing. 10 out of 10 now.
Rage Chan?
The best.
Puri,
the
Puri.
absolute best.
Prisoner. I want to see
Puri
this
Puri Prisoner.
so I can. I've seen One Punch Man, so I will probably know this. Oh, that guy
Yep.
with the ball and chain and everything.
Yeah, the guy who always strips off his clothes, goes full naked, and then angel wings pop out of his back.
Weird.
And he's called Puri Puri Prisoner.
That's great. Hold on. Let's see if I can find a voice sample. Well, the videos are all wrong. Maybe he's not a popular character. I mean, John loves him. Clearly, you're super into Puri Puri.
How do people not get excited about Puri Puri Prisoner?
Well, I haven't seen One Punch Man.
Oh, here he is. Okay, let's see if we can get some audio out of this guy. I've never heard of him before, but we're gonna find out.
I'm the Class S hero, Puri Puri Prisoner. You surprised I know? I check up on all the boys who catch my eye. I'm serving a life sentence because I can't seem to control myself.
That's the same guy? It's like, hi, I'm the Diablo 4 barbarian, and also this. Wow.
That's so good.
That's great. I've learned something, too. I didn't know that was his name. I've seen that show. Or that series, or that anime, I should say. It's got a guy that punches once, and then people are dead.
Oh, there's GIFs just readily available in Discord of him. Great. I can just send these to you while we continue.
Oh, good. That'd be great. I mean, you owe me for all those Shrek things, so it's perfect.
And he's got a lot of muscles.
Okay, here's that text, Bo. This is for you. When you load up Yakuza like a dragon, it says, real Yakuza use a controller. Question for Bo. Is he a real Yakuza? I feel like Bo favors keyboard/mouse, so I'm generally curious. From Shanafan. Well, Shanafan, I'll let Bo answer that for you. Do you ignore the message and play with the keyboard?
I'm a real Yakuza.
Oh, all right then. Look at you with the
I
controller.
play like a real Yakuza. It's funny. It's the only game that makes an issue out of playing the controller. I was like,
there are a lot where they'll say,
the first 2 times, I'm like, I'm going to keyboard and mouse this. And I'm like, I don't feel like a real Yakuza.
Yeah.
And, I want to make Ichiban proud of me. So,
sure.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games.
It also allowed me to sit in a different chair, more comfy.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But there's a lot of games that'll say, controller recommended or whatever, but those guys really go out of their way to tell you because they want you to feel bad,
The controls they don't require mouse and keyboard. You're not losing anything. It's pretty one-to-one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no fidelity to be gained either way.
No,
so.
You don't need 1 through 0s slots or anything. It's just
no. And sometimes I got a chair behind me, a comfy love seat, so it actually allowed me to get rid of the normal office chair seating and do some comfy love seat sitting, which is great.
Comfy love seat sitting.
Yeah,
I like the way that rolled off the tongue. I like that a lot.
Comfy love seat sitting. That's
hey, you guys, we have some good news. The good news is a bunch of patrons joined us this week, and that makes me happy because we lost a couple, and I want to see these new faces. This is great. You guys are filling in those slots and then building more on top of it, and that makes me very happy. George Reddick, Scott McKeon, Molly Fenton, I know her, Yoi Ochani, Mohammed Sheriff, and Chad Thomas. Look at these guys. Stepping up to the bar, guys and gals, and making it happen so that we can keep the show not only on the air, but keep all of us making the show. That's really what we need. And you'll never get commercials. You get like an ad-free thing. Oh, I got to do this tonight, but the Spotify has a deal with Patreon now where your Patreon-supported feed without ads and everything is now available on Spotify, but natively. You don't have to go paste something in there because up till now they haven't allowed you to paste in a custom feed like most players do. But if you love using Spotify and it bugged you couldn't do that before, well, now you can. It's some integration, and I'm going to just turn it on tonight. So watch for that if you're a Spotify user.
That's actually that was me listening to podcasts. I like using Spotify, and
there you go then.
Don't like getting ads.
That's right. So this is perfect for people like you. So watch for that. That's happening. Also, there's pre-show content every week that you'll also get it through that same feed, and monthly benefits like host specials like John's going to do for the month of August. All right, watch for that.
That's right.
Bo will be after that in September. Then it'll be me, and I can't believe it's already October by then. That's insane to say that out loud. But hey, here's where we are in 2023.
And I'm just counting down 9 more episodes till I'm no longer at my full-time job. Which
only 9?
Only 9 more episodes to go. I'm just looking forward to it. I want to do something special for the core folks.
What will that episode be? Let's find out.
I've had some requests for a VR chat get together.
Yeah.
Hardcore WoW will be out by then. Maybe we'll do an event. I don't know. I want to do some cool shit with my time for you guys.
So let's see.
It's October 12th is my last day.
12th, and that will be episode 387, just to give people an idea where we'll be.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'm very excited for you on that front, and it's because of your support. So get over there, patreon.com/core show, and keep the fire burning. Frogpants.com/core for everything else you're looking for. And now the microphone gets handed to Grandma, who catches us up on what we played this week on Core.
Hey, you made it to the end of the episode. Congratulations. And you're wondering, what the hell were they talking about for so long? Well, it was Baldur's Gate 3. They probably didn't say the title enough for you, but they talked about it for so long you had time to figure it out, Sherlock. So, it's Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
But they did play other things. Scott played I Am Future.
Yeah.
It's a parody of I Am Legend. That's where the name comes from. It's a story about vampires.
Uh-huh.
Charlton Heston was in the movie, but it was called The Omega Man.
Yeah.
But then Will Smith was also in an adaptation that was called I Am Legend.
Yeah.
This game was called I Am Future. And then he also, Scott, the next two things he didn't play, but he talked about them. It was Viewfinder and then The Expanse.
Yeah.
John played WWE 2K23 again. He played Transformers War for Cybertron. Don't get too excited, you can't buy it. And he played Ori and the Blind Forest, so you could play that if you wanted to. We didn't even ask Bo what he played, but that's because all he wrote was Baldur's Gate 3. So if you're wondering what
Yep.
Bo didn't talk about, it was more Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep. That's right. And if you guys want more, if you want to know more about Lake Run, bug him about it. You know, poke him.
Yeah. Well, that's what the 9 weeks is for. We're gonna get back to learning Godot. I want to make a game. God damn it!
Yep, we're making it. It's happening. Watch for that.
But in the interim, go to our Frog Pants Discord. Check out the indie dev channel.
Oh
They're
yeah,
crazy
dude!
in there.
So much cool stuff happening in there. Also, there's other cool things like that channel has. So the core channel we have every day. People are doing that guess the .game competition where everyone tries to guess games from screenshots. There's the golf game everybody's playing. They're posting their scores up there. What was the third thing? Well, anyway, there's a ton of stuff. Go over there and check it out. Frogpants.com/Discord. You'll just get right in. All right? Piece of cake. We'd love to have you. That's going to do it for us. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with more tales from the coast of D&D.
From the borderlands.
Sword Coast. It's Sword Coast on Faerun.
That's what I meant to say. And then also battle. Always put battle in front of Baldur.
Battler's Gate.
Battle Gate 3. All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next time with more, and we'll see you then.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Puny! I am strong! I am virile! I am